You watching the? Okay.
This is Hkhs Sport bringing you that heat and that fart. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the next. We keeping the foot on the whoop on the next. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, I'm applying what unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipe. Sorry for the late. We ain't gonna be late like this no more. You know what I'm saying? Had to kick a tenant out. So let's get on to it, man. Jaliktheleader, what's up, man? Talk to us, bro.
It's chilling, man. It's enjoying the weather. It's the winter time. It be warm. I'm like, wow, and it's amazing. Maybe it'd be a few days where it'd be really cold. It'd be kind of warm. So yeah, just enjoying it and ready for tonight, bro. The third biggest fight in boxing, maybe the second is Tank versus Ryan Garcia, Cinco de Mayo, baby. So we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it ends up happening, man. We're gonna get onto it though. I mean, that's gonna be a topic we're gonna talk about. But you know the topic at hand, dog, is Spence versus Crawford, man. A lot of people want to know what we gotta say. We gonna embrace debate. We're gonna engage it, and we're gonna get right into this motherfucker, man. So what's up, man? Jalik, talk to us, man. Why are you vehemently supporting Terence Bud Crawford, Doug? What is it about Bud Crawford that makes you a Bud Man fan?
I'm not a Bud Man fan. I've been watching boxing before I even ever heard of Terence Crawford. But I like what he stands for. Now, do I have some criticism of him? Is that absolutely? I definitely have some criticism of him. I've done a video 2019. I said closed mouths don't get fed. So you must be able to promote yourself. You know how Top Rank is. But at the same time, on the flip side, I also understand that when two fighters want to fight, then the fight gets happened because a guy by the name of Tyson Fury is with Top Rank, and they made the fight with Wilder. So if that fight can happen, it's obviously both wanted it to happen. So when two guys want the fight to happen, it can absolutely happen. So I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I don't deny the fact that Errol Spence is a good fighter. And he's like a franchise. I've never been to Texas. I think I was in a layover, but people in Texas really support their guy. So I got a new nickname for Earl out of respect. I call him the franchise because he's in Dallas and he's selling. But being a franchise doesn't, being the A side or all that talk, because I mean, I naturally want them to get their bread. That doesn't mean you ain't gonna get your ass knocked out. I've been telling you we had like a bet, like a push-up bet, right? Crawford is gonna knock him out. And let me say this, I'm gonna get right into it. Errol Spence is the new Keith Thurman. He has that Keith Thurman energy. Listen. Keith Thurman was calling out Floyd, calling out Danny, calling out all these guys. But when Errol Spence came around, I was like, whoa, because Errol Spence built up his aura for hurting. He hurt Broner in sparring. He blacked Floyd eye allegedly because I seen his eye right before his fight Robert Guerrero in 2013. So he built up his name. Also, he came in at a time where he was a bigger welterweight. So he created this aura about himself. And believe it or not, I was like, based on his style, I thought back then that he could beat Keith Thurman, even though Keith Thurman, when he was calling out Floyd, had this aura about him, about power. So when you get past higher level competition and you see that guys ain't just knocking guys out, then everything changes. One thing to be calling everybody else out, but when people start to call you out, it's a whole new different ball game. So we have to, I respect Errol. He's doing. I don't care about his money. I want all of them to make their money, but we got to keep it 100. Errol Spence is the new Keith Thurman. His new nickname is Errol Thurman Jr. And Bud, and it's getting to the point where it's like Bud is bullying them. It's like you don't want to see nobody fight if the guy is bullied, though. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the warm up, though, bro.
All right. You see? Yeah, you say what you said. I'll let you say it. Now let me say what I gotta say. First and foremost, stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush, man. Keith Thurman? Errol Spence is Keith Thurman? Are you fucking kidding me? Keith Thurman, after he sat there and got 2 unified belts, he sat on his supposed galore. This guy was on some Titanic flute playing shit. He didn't want free smoke. This was supposed to be the time where Keith Thurman was supposed to ramp the shit up and show to us that he was truly what he was one time. But we realized that he was run time, or AKA duck time, because Errol the True Spence was calling his ass out. It's tables turn, motherfucker. So Spence ain't got to fight that motherfucker, because guess what? He ain't got nothing for Spence to want anyways. Now, you talked about the A-side equation. People have to understand A-side and B-side equation in boxing has always been there. This shit has been there since the beginning of boxing time. This shit has been there since the Muhammad Ali days. This shit has been there since the Jack Johnson days. This shit has been there since Sugar Ray Robinson days. The motherfucking A-side, B-side equation has always been there. In boxing, I've told you guys this shit. It's a three-pronged monster: economics, politics, and then pugilism. The reason why you want these elements to come into play is because boxing is what it is. Boxing is filled with corruption. Boxing is filled with money. Boxing is filled with politics. Boxing is filled with economics. Boxing is filled with a conglomerate of a lot of shit that people don't pay attention to. And you know what's interesting about this? People want their cake and they want to eat it too. They only want to put a closed eye when it benefits them and is selective to them. And then at the same time, they have an open eye when they don't too much care about the fighter, or they don't too much care about the situation. Errol the True Spence did all of the fucking heavyweight lifting from 2016 to 2020. This motherfucker fought Kell Brook, a guy that's my buddy, me, Sean fucking Porter, who, by the way, we're going to get on that shit with Terence Crawford. Sean Porter was crying his rabbit ass off when he lost to Kell Brook. Didn't even want to deal with him. Keith Thurman. That's why I laugh when you give the Errol the True Spence and Keith Thurman common denominator. Keith Thurman had a fucking belt. He was running away from Kell Brook at that time. Nobody wanted that Kell Brook smoke. Danny Garcia, WBC champion. Nobody wanted that fucking free smoke with Kell fucking Brook. And you know what Errol the True Spence said? Just like Floyd Money Mayweather did with Oscar De La Hoya. I'll take all your fucking terms. I don't give a flying fuck, because I'm an error-filled fighter. I'm going to dominate your ass. I'm going to take your ass to deep waters, because I'm Mr. Tactical Aggression, Mr. Technical Punching Placement, and Mr. Body Snatching Work, the levying onslaught, the punishment style. All I got to do is keep going and going and going, and I'm going to tear your rabbit ass up. If you look at the second half of the fight, that's exactly what happened. Errol the True Spence already arguably had the best welterweight fight in the division when he fought Kell Brook in 2016. That was the best welterweight fight, period, bar none. Terence Crawford is nothing but a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. He's a fucking chihuahua. Because if Terence Crawford was really what you say he was, and he wasn't smoke and fucking mirrors like Errol the True Spence said that he was way back when Errol the True Spence said, name an opponent that Terence Crawford fought that was better than Chris Algieri. You can't name one. You can't fucking name one. So when Errol the True Spence tell you this shit, it's the truth. And when they met back in 2018 and they had the A side and B side equation, Errol the True Spence made it very fucking clear. Clean up your rabbit ass side of the street, you chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. And I'm going to clean up my side of the street in Megalodon shark fashion. Terence Crawford couldn't even fucking do that. Sitting there, running away and not getting free smoke from my buddy, me, Sean fucking Porter. Fighting the likes of a lame duck Jeff Horn. What the fuck is that? That does not make you top 3 pound for pound at 147. Fighting a one-legged Jose Benavidez, a one-legged Gimp variation. That does not make you top 3 pound for pound. Fighting a Amir Khan that was 5 years past his prime at that time. That does not make you pound for pound. Fighting a freaking Bing, Bajing, Bagoo, Babeen, Marvel fucking character, Mean Machine. That does not make you top 3 pound for pound. If Errol the True Spence fought any of those motherfuckers from 2016 to 2020, this is why I say the double standards that's associated with boxing. That's why I tell motherfuckers, keep that same energy, dog. Let me say it again. Keep that same energy. Because if Spence would have fought that bullshit and fuck shit, they would have left his rabbit ass. And they would have said, you don't belong on the top 10 pound for pound. But I already told you, Bud Man fans like Terence Crawford are mediocre as fuck. They like mediocrity. They don't like supremacy. See, over here, we like supremacy. When you fight a Kell Brook and you make him bend the proverbial fucking knee and Boys to Men fashion via 10th round TKO stoppage. The motherfucker didn't want no more. Then you turn around after that. You run through fucking Lamont Peterson. You run through Mikey Garcia, a guy who Sugar Ray Leonard said, oh, I'm picking Mikey because his name is Mike. Get the fuck out of here because you got done up by Roberto Duran. Stop the fucking presses on that bullshit. Errol the True Spence fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. All heavyweight lifting, all upper echelon of the welterweight division. So when we think of the upper echelon of the welterweight division and we think of heavyweight lifting, that's Errol the True Spence. All he's telling Bud is know your role, know your place, operate in that motherfucker, and live in it. You a B-side. And see, if Bud is in a unique position, if Bud is everything that you say that he is, why not fucking take the B-side equation and say, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove everybody wrong, that I can beat up Errol the True Spence. Because guess what? Once he beats Errol the True Spence, if he's able to fucking do that, because that's not going to happen. He's going to get park punished and stopped. He's going to get fucking bulldozed and fucking steamrolled. If he's able to do that, then guess what? Now you're the A-side. This is what Floyd did with Oscar De La Hoya, and Floyd didn't look back. This is what Errol the True Spence did when he fought Kell Brook, and he didn't look back. His Kell Brook fight was the comparison of what Floyd had with Oscar De La Hoya. Once Errol the True Spence demolished Kell Brook, the legend of Errol the True Spence continued. And since then, he ain't been looking back. It is very clear that Terence Bud Crawford doesn't want free smoke with Mr. Free Smoke Jr., man. It's very clear that Terence Bud Crawford, like Errol the True Spence said, when he looked at him dead in his face. Now, Jaliktheleader, you know this shit, man. When a motherfucker look at you dead in their eye, it's like Tupac told Nas, you and I know the truth, motherfucker. You and I know the truth. He looked at this motherfucker dead in the eye and said, you too light in the ass, I will straight up stop you. Basically call him Bud Light in the fucking caboose. Not one, not two, but three. And we all know the number 3 is the number of confirmation. Looked at this motherfucker dead ass in his eyes and told his ass, you too light in the ass, I will straight up stop you. And he ain't had nothing to say after that. See, this is the problem with fight fans. I get it. Most fight fans are mediocre as fuck. Most fight fans, they don't want to see an Arrowfield fighter. They thought Floyd Mayweather, when he left, he was done and over with. And lo and behold, Errol the True Spence came immediately right behind his ass. That was just like Kobe Bean Bryant. Nobody thought Kobe Bean Bryant was going to come immediately right after Michael Jeffrey Jordan, but the shit happened. Because an Arrowfield fighter is what he is, an Arrow-fucking-field fighter. Now, the bottom line is as simple as this. And I told motherfuckers, and I'm going to tell your rabbit ass this shit. If Terence Bud Crawford really want to fight Errol the True Spence, he has to do what everybody else has to do. He has to clean up his side of the street. What is he bringing to the fucking table that denotes his side of the damn street? What? The opponents that I just mentioned? No. Stop the presses and pump the brakes on that nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and higgity hush on that nonsense. These opponents don't mean shit. He needs to do heavyweight lifting. So the better question, Jalik, is why not fight Sean Porter? And see, in boxing, they tell you triangle theories don't fucking work. That's bullshit and fuck shit. Triangle theories work for certain fighters. Sean Porter is one of them. Because everybody that fights Sean Porter, guess what? This shit gonna be ugly. It's because Terence Bud Crawford know he like to be comfortable in there. He know he got that hit me, I'm gonna hit you back flawed DNA fighter style. And he knows Sean Porter will wobble his fucking ass. And he knows Sean Porter will take his ass to deep waters because with Sean Porter, pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. And he don't want to see that. And we all know if he fights Sean Porter and look ugly, then who the fuck want to see Spence versus Crawford at that point? That's what we're talking about here. See, if you are truly a Terence Bud Crawford fanboy or Bud Man fan or Bud Terence Bud Crawford fanboy man crush, then you would tell Terence Bud Crawford, look here, man, you need to prove your weight too. You need to bring something of value. They call super fights a super fight of the age for a reason. You see why you say Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder are super fights? Because Anthony Joshua got names behind his column. Deontay Wilder got names behind his column. Spence got a name behind his column. What the fuck does Terence Bud Crawford have behind his column for it to be a fucking super fight? It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, He don't got shit. That's why he's nothing but a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. I'm bringing that heat and that fire, though. You better keep up. Bottom line is this. Terence Bud Crawford is smoking fucking mirrors. And until the boxing community fan base get it in their heads, you're not going to tell Spence to do 50-50. That shit ain't happening. Terence Crawford needs to bend the proverbial fucking knee, know his role, and like they do at the Pope, kiss the fucking ring, take your gracious ass 40%, it really should be 70-30, and get your ass bulldozed and get your ass steamrolled. He don't want that because he knows Errol the True Spence is going to expose his ass. And he's hiding behind Bob Arum and that bullshit and fuck shit. And the fact that he sat here and said he should get a 60-40 split. A motherfucker that got 57K pay-per-view buys, how the fuck do you get 60-40%? When has Spence ever done 57K? See, that's what I'm talking about. Terence Crawford and Bo Mack are Negos that's missing a few screws. Now, to get back on that last point with Keith Thurman, because we're going to contextualize this shit. When you said Errol the True Spence and Keith Thurman are the same motherfucker, then why didn't Keith Thurman fight everybody that he was supposed to fucking fight? Why did Keith Thurman start saying, my neck, my back, my and my crack? That's how he fucking sound, because he injured all over the fucking place. I'm thinking I'm listening to a Kaya fucking song. That's what I'm thinking about. And you comparing that motherfucker to Errol the True Spence that got out of a car crash, Jaliktheleader. Think about this. You Rudy Pool, you plum brain. You classic Dota, you troglodyte. You ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. This motherfucker got out of a car crash. Got on his nightshade. You ever watch Luke Cage? You ever heard Bushmaster? You know what he said? Two bulls can't reign in one pen. That's not plural, you know. Got out of his shit, took his nightshade, got into that motherfucker, and fought the likes of Danny Garcia. And motherfuckers would have got on his ass if he would have sat there and fought, guess who? A Dudakoro, Kuda Triddle or Dudakoro. Motherfuckers would have got on Spence on that shit. You see, that's why I say same rules don't apply with Errol the True Spence that they do with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford had a nosedive of a fight against Kell Brook. How the hell you hit a motherfucker on the shoulder and you knock his ass out? Don't make me laugh, dog. Bottom line is this. Terence Crawford needs to do some heavyweight lifting, show up to the fucking party, take your rabbit ass 40% because the Porter fight is going to be the test. And then after that, you get the Spence and the Crawford fight. And Spence will gladly take your fucking belt. Like he told Marcos Vegas on Fight Hub TV. He told his ass back in fucking 2019. I'm worried about these fucking belts. Terence Crawford, I'll come take his belt when I'm ready to take his belt. And he gonna come take his belt. Spence ain't ducking no damn Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is smoking fucking mirrors. Like he said when he interviewed it, dog. And he got on the podium. Bob Arum is a smoking mirror promoter. Terence Crawford is nothing but smoke and fucking mirrors. And when the time comes for me to wash, double wash, and triple wash his ass, then I'm gonna fucking do it. But to compare him with Keith Thurman, a guy that got exposed by Manny Pacquiao, who ducked Errol the True Spence 4 times, it's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, mic drop. Right back at you.
Shout out to the panel. Shout out to He Knows His Sport. Shout out to Miami-Dade County. He's a good guy, but I must expose him. And this is how you expose people that doesn't do their research. Now we know Floyd Mayweather is a great fighter. Can we agree with that? He Knows His Sports.
TBE, baby. TBE.
Okay. TBE. Now, who did he say was the #1 pound for pound most recently when he said it on camera? Did he say Errol Spence was pound for pound #1, or did he say Terence Crawford was pound for pound #1?
Floyd Mayweather opted with Terence Crawford.
Okay, so he said Terence Crawford, but here you go with that jabberish talk that you're talking, and you got people in the account that is probably your burner account because y'all sound exactly the same. Your burner account, I'm calling them out. I know you got some burner accounts. They sound exactly like you. So now Floyd Mayweather is TBE, but then you trashing Terence Crawford as pound for pound. But it's obvious that people know skills, recognize skills, and he doesn't say that very lightly because Floyd think he's better than everybody. So that's one thing I want to point that out on. Now we understand that Errol Spence does have more leverage and able to fight some names, but nobody on this fucking panel can tell me that Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia is a bigger fight than Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. So why is there always these obstacles? What it sounds like is this guy, he knows his sports, believes in Errol Spence more than Errol Thurman believes in himself, because I'm gonna stop calling him Errol Spence. I'm gonna call him brown skin Errol Thurman Jr. He's the new Keith Thurman. Every time you bring the name up, he acts intimidated. Men lie, women lie, but energy doesn't lie. I'm going to say that again. Men lie, women lie, but energy doesn't lie. Every time you bring his fight up, he went to the fight most recently. Like I said before, people in Texas, they support their guy. So shout out to Texas. I heard the woman was amazing. But why did they protect why did they try to protect Errol and prevent him from going on stage? They act like they wanted to fight because they feel threatened. If that was Manny Pacquiao, they don't feel threatened, so they're going to let him on stage. But everybody know in boxing, Errol Spence versus Crawford is what we've been talking about. Is the Jay-Z versus Nas. Imagine Jay-Z when he came out with the Takeover, produced by Kanye West, saying, I don't want to battle Nas because I'm selling a couple million more records than Nas. That would be corny. This is for the culture. So when people are intimidated and insecure, they start talking about their money. And A-side, when did He Knows His Sports become a manager? We understand this, but don't you want to see the fight? So people spend all this time talking about A-side, B-side, which I don't talk about that because I just want to see the fight. I know when I see Errol Thurman, he doesn't believe that he can win. And let me say this too. Derek James, I respect the guy. They jerked him. He should have been trainer of the year. I interviewed him once. He's very cordial. I like the guy. He's a great trainer. But he be talking real crazy. He instead of thinking of the ways why he should make it, it's always his excuses. You ever try to go for a job? He knows in sports, they don't really want to hire you, so they coming up with this. Oh, you need a master's degree. Oh, now you need a PhD. Now you need this experience. Just say the fuck you don't want to hire me, and so I can get on. That's what they're saying. It's obvious. Men lie, women lie, and numbers don't. And let me bring something else up. You said Danny Garcia was this great fighter. He never beat nobody at 147. So being at 140 and 147, everybody know he's very limited. If you look at the fight with Ivan Redcat, I predicted exactly. I said Earl going dominating 9 rounds to 3, and that's his tune-up fight. He's very limited. He only has one gear. He's already rich. I forget what Hagler said about being rich. Once you get rich, these guys don't want to fight no more. So Terence Crawford stays in the gym. He stays in shape. And let me also point out for all you guys, because I'm not going to point out everything because I'm going to put a lot of money on this fight and I'm going to win a lot of money. Styles make fights, right? Any fighter that just say they're going to win based on size is done. Now, prior to the Mikey Garcia fight, a lot of people thought Earl was this big puncher, right? They thought he was this big puncher. And then he faces a quitter in Mikey Garcia, because Mikey Garcia did quit against Orlando Salido, and he did start at 126, and he did get dropped. I think about a guy from Puerto Rico, Rocky Martinez. So if you're this big puncher, you can't stop a featherweight quitter. You got tired. So psychologically, once again, if you think that you're going to win based on your size, what happens when you face a guy that's smaller than Crawford, that quit and was small? It messes with you mentally. So guess what happens? His team is going to talk to him like, bro. And guess what? The more that comes out, the more he reveals that he's intimidated by Crawford. That's why the fight is starting to get played out, because it's like nobody want to see somebody get bullied now. You guys, Errol Spence fans, and I like Errol Spence. You believe in Errol Spence more than Errol Spence believes in himself. Ain't that crazy? If Errol Spence had your because I got to give it to He Knows His Sports. He's a very confident man, and I'm sure outside of YouTube, he's very successful. You can tell because the guy is very intelligent. So if Errol Spence had He Knows His Sports confidence, Errol Spence will have a better chance of beating Bud, but it's obvious he doesn't believe in himself. Like I said, Floyd Mayweather has Crawford pound for pound number 1. Bud Crawford, do you understand? Do you guys understand? Because y'all been, a lot of people just listen to narratives. Do you guys understand that Terence Crawford got shot in the head? And y'all keep bringing up an accident. Both of those are tragic situations, but you can't keep bringing up this accident without talking about Crawford getting shot in the head. So both of those things are psychologically challenging to you. Like, I'm sure a lot of people that get in accidents might be afraid to drive. You get shot in the head, you're very distrustful of people. You get what I'm saying? So Terence Crawford, and let's look at this power thing and this size thing. The guy, he's taller than Crawford. He's not rangier than Crawford. He doesn't have more power. He does not have more power. If you go in a distance with guys that quit at 126, you don't have more power. It's almost literally been 5 years since Terence Crawford has went a decision. 5 years. And it's been almost 3 years since Errol Spence has gotten a knockout. So who's really the bigger puncher? Every fight at 140, and every fight at 140 except Postal, who he dropped 2 times, and every fight at 147, he knocked the guy out. So who's really the bigger puncher? Once again, y'all have to study boxing and understand that Errol Spence is not this big, physically sized boogeyman. If he has all this extra weight on him and he needs to lose weight, it's going to be weaker. Case in point, I'm gonna teach you guys, because a lot of y'all don't look at boxing. Shane Mosley is physically bigger than Floyd Mayweather, but who was stronger in the fight? Floyd Mayweather was strong walker, and he bullied him. After he hurt him once, he bullied him. And anybody in the chat, I'm going to the fight. Shout out to my man JC, because that's my homie right there. I'm going to the fight. I got money on the fight. I'm gonna bring cash, and we can get it in Cash App. Bud Crawford is going to bully this boy, and guess what? The fight is going to look like Chad Dawson and Andre Ward. He's going to dominate him, make him look like an amateur, but guess what? I'm still going to root for Errol because he's great for boxing. He's a franchise. That doesn't mean that he's a loser. He just can't fuck with Terence Bud Crawford, who stay in the gym. The boy is a bully. Listen, Errol Spence, bro, listen, I highly recommend, because he knows his sports is a man of different trades. I highly recommend that you set up a consultant appointment with this guy, because he can teach you some natural linguistic program, the stuff that Tony Robbins do. So all the confidence that he has in you, he can transfer it to you, so that way you can believe in yourself. Because Errol Spence, bro, I hate to say it, bro, you look intimidated by Bud Crawford, but that's round 2. I'm just warming up. Get your notes out. Get your Ring magazine out. Let's get it popping.
All right. I mean, the consensus no round 1 went to me, so round 2 about to go to me. First and foremost, when you mention Floyd, that's hilarious, because you don't understand Floyd and Errol Spence dichotomy. What Floyd was doing is what Michael Jeffrey Jordan does to Kobe Bryant. It's a push. When you see somebody that's a translucent image or a transparent image like you want to push them so that they can keep being on that level. Remember, Floyd never was sitting there ringside coaching the Chihuahua walking behind the damn fence. But he was doing that with Errol the True Spence. He's always on the phone with Errol the True Spence, because iron sharpens iron. Errol the True Spence was the one that gave Floyd Mayweather a black eye. Floyd Mayweather was feeling some type of way, rehired him back in, and then after that, Floyd Mayweather became Floyd Mayweather. The reason why that sparring match, for a lot of casuals, hopefully you're not a casual and you don't understand the importance of that. In boxing, there's a thing called sparring wars. I'm about to educate a lot of motherfuckers. Jalik, round 2, you about to get ethered and murked. I assume you know what sparring wars is. A lot of people that are not boxing savants don't know this shit. But sparring wars were done since the Pernell Whitaker days. Shit, we could roll that motherfucker back since the Winky Wright days. We could roll that motherfucker back since the fucking Sugar Shane Mosley days. We could roll that motherfucker back since the Sugar Ray Leonard days. We could roll that motherfucker back since the Muhammad Ali days. The reason why, and this is something that's very prevalent in the black boxing community fan base with black fighters, is because if black fighters do sparring wars with one another, and they do an iron sharpening iron, which is what Errol the True Spence and Jermell Charlo does, by the way, then they know when they step into the ring, it's easy as fuck. This is the equivalent of what basketball would be when Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bryant are training, they're practicing, and then they got the shot clock going down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how they train, so that when they get into the game in pressurized situations, they don't choke like fucking LeBron James and don't know what the fuck they're doing. Terence Bud Crawford's 140-pound division is laughable. So when you say he's finishing opponents, John Molina, Don't make me laugh. Hank Lundy, who the fuck is that? If Errol the True Spence fight him, he'll park punish and stop his ass. Don't make me fucking laugh. I'm gonna keep on going, because I'm gonna ride on this, because they say Bud's 140. His 140 is actually worse than his 147. What you just did is you opened a can of whoop ass on Terence Crawford, the Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. Terence Crawford fought Raymundo Beltran. Who the fuck is that? If Errol the True Spence fight this motherfucker, he parks punish and stop his ass. These are the motherfuckers that he fought. Julius Indongo. Put Spence against any one of these motherfuckers. It's over. These are the people that Terence Crawford is fighting, because Bob Arum does what Bob Arum does best. He puts you in the fucking ring with smoke and mirrors opponents, because Bob Arum, when he likes a fighter, he's going to put him in with opponents that are way, way, way less. Now, you talked about Errol the True Spence not finishing opponents. Quality of opposition. You sounded like a boxing casual, Jaliktheleader. Do you know when you step up in competition, the knockouts ain't gonna be there? You should fucking know this. You root people with you plum brain. You classic though, then you troglodyte. You ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. No Blu-ray, $2 rent a hole. I don't give a flying fuck, because I'm a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. I already told you, he's a $2 rent a hole. No Blu-ray, nobody's gonna change that. When you are what you say that you are, and you're fighting elite competition, there ain't gonna be no knockouts like that. Andre Ward done told you this shit when he was clowning Teofimo Lopez. What happens when you can't find the knockouts and you have to step up in competition? Every time you step up in competition, you ain't gonna be knocking motherfuckers out. He fought Danny Garcia, and you sat here and say, what has Danny Garcia done at 147? Danny Garcia's resume at 147 makes us laugh at fucking Terence Crawford. That's an opponent that actually is a higher level opponent than the Chihuahua. Hey, Julie, it's my turn. I'm cooking. The Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. Did Terence Crawford fight Keith Thurman? It's a things that make you say, Did Terence Crawford fight Sean Porter? It's a things that make you say, He didn't fight those motherfuckers. Did Terence Crawford fight Errol the True Spence? This is who Danny Garcia fought. And you want to compare Terence Crawford to this heavyweight lifting? This is what we're talking about when we say Terence Crawford is a Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. Victor Postel, who the fuck is that? And when Terence Crawford fought real opponents like Gamboa, what happened? Do the stanky leg. He turned Terence Crawford from a bow-legged individual to a straight-legged individual. Do you know that Terence Crawford was bow-legged before he fought Gamboa? After that fight, he became a straight-legged individual. That's how much he got wobbled. Because of that bullshit and fuck shit, hit me, I'm going to hit you back fighting style. You keep talking about he's rangier than Errol the True Spence. Wasn't Tommy Hitman Hearns rangier than Marvin Hagler? Ooh, that uppercut. What the fuck happened there? He got parked. He got punished. He got fucking stopped in 5 rounds. Do you realize Errol the True Spence and Terence Crawford is Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hitman Hearns 2.0? It's the same shit. If you go back and look at the history of that, I'm hoping you're a boxing savant enough to know this. The way they build in Terence Crawford is the same way they were building Tommy the Hitman Hearns, saying, oh, Marvin Hagler, underrating Marvin Hagler. Oh, he ain't got no skills. And they found out he was more skillful. It's the same shit with Errol the True Spence. Oh, Marvin Hagler, how he gonna deal with Tommy Hitman Hearns' range? And what happened? In 5 fucking rounds, he got parked, he got punished, and he got fucking stopped. Because he wasn't too big, too durable, and built too fucking tough. That's why the motherfuckers are universally clamoring behind He Knows the Sport. It's not because He Knows the Sport is telling you shit that sound good. I'm bringing you that ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow. When it's all said and done, you are a Bud Man fan. We get it. You're mediocre as fuck. Just like Terence Crawford's cousin or whatever the fuck this motherfucker is. Look like Krusty the fucking Clown motherfucker. I mean, these people from Omaha, Nebraska, they're mediocre as fuck, man. So when you sit here and tell me Terence Crawford is a dog where? Since he showed up to 147, he's been fighting opponents that Bob Arum has been giving him, which has been too much of nothing. It's been too much of shit. And when Terence Crawford has been called out, he was called out by all of the upper echelon of the welterweight division. He was called out by fucking Sean Porter. He ducked Sean Porter 4 to 5 fucking times.
He was called out by Danny Garcia. He ducked Danny Garcia. Did you know that? He ducked Danny Garcia for Mean Machine. He was called out by Keith Thurman. Oh, no, it's too much money. But all of these guys got a resume. He fought Kell Brook at 50%, and Kell Brook outboxed him for 3 out of those 4 fucking rounds. But Crawford is such a boxer. Nobody wants to talk about this shit. Go back and look at the fight. I can argue this shit down with the best of them because my film work study is second to none. And what I saw in that fight was Kell Brook was outboxing Terence Crawford. You talk about range. Do you realize, and see, I'm about to eat that murk your ass, Kell Brook don't even got a 70-inch reach, and he was outboxing the shit out of Terence Crawford. But all of a sudden in the 4th round, he got hit on the shoulder, and then he got knocked out. It's the things that make you say, It's the things that make you say, And then you mentioned the Mikey Garcia fight. I'm going to kill you on that. Anybody that knows boxing knows this. When a fighter is trying to survive the whole fight, they ain't going to get knocked out. I don't give a fuck what type of punch you hitting them. Danny Garcia winning that motherfucker to survive. That's right. EB Sweater Light say he knows the sport. Jaliktheleader, y'all cooking today. Had to stop what I'm doing. Damn right, man. This is the hottest thing smoking, dog. So salute to Jaliktheleader. He getting cooked the fuck up, but he gonna keep getting cooked the fuck up. Bottom line is this. Mikey Garcia was in shoulder. He was in survival mode. And when you survive, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna survive. But what has Mikey Garcia been since then? The motherfucker's pissing Amber. He can't fuck his woman. Because that's what happened. He went 26 days in hibernation stage. He couldn't fuck. He was pissing Amber the whole fucking time. And then when he showed up in a fight hype video, what the fuck happened to him? Like the Derrick James, you clown. Derrick James said, when you go 12 rounds with Errol the True Spence, you ain't the same fighter no more. And look at the fucking fight that happened between him and Jesse Vargas. Jesse Vargas was wearing his fucking ass out, and they gave it to Mikey Garcia. So when you say that Mikey Garcia didn't get knocked out, what the fuck are you talking about? And then you say he's a 135-pounder. You about to get ethered and murked. Didn't he go up 140 pounds a few times and fought? So technically, Errol the True Spence fought a guy that was 1 weight class less, not 2. Because Mikey Garcia fought at 142. So ether and murk. See, everything you're throwing is getting countered. Don't you see a recurrence here? It's just like Reject Robin. Everything you're throwing is getting ethered and murk, dog. It's getting countered. See, the bottom line is this. When we sit here and we think of Sean Porter trained his fucking best. Sean Porter had a strength and conditioning coach. Sean Porter had 2 trainers. Errol the True Spence just had Derrick James. And what happened in the 11th round, dog? When they had the phone booth. This is how you know Errol the True Spence is built differently, dog. And this wasn't even Errol the True Spence on his Achilles shit. He made Sean Porter bend the proverbial fucking knee. Terence Crawford can't take those shots that these PBC welterweights are throwing at one another. Any one of these motherfuckers, those shots will wobble Terence Crawford. Because what you're not telling people and you lying to the people is Terence Crawford's chin is shit. Why did he get dropped by Mean Machine? You Terence Crawford fanboy man crushers, y'all avoid that, dog. Y'all don't even want to talk about Mean Machine because you know once we bring up the Mean Machine, that's that ether, that shit that make your soul burn. So that's that napalm. Why do you think every fighter was calling Terence Crawford out after that? Even Boots, young pups, calling this motherfucker out because they know his shit ain't worth shit. And he has a bland, flawed DNA fighter style. Hit me, I'm going to hit you back. But he's such a boxing savant. But why does he get touched up so much? Why is he reckless? Why is he getting outboxed? He's supposed to be this boxer. Why is he always getting touched up? The Jose Benavidez fight, I saw Bo Mac basically choking out Big Macs. Let me say it again. Bo Mac was choking out Big Macs. That's how much he was yelling. You want to know what I'm talking about? Go back and watch the fight and watch the view cam when they did the inside cam on Bo Mac. Bo Mac was yelling at Terence Crawford the whole fucking time. Because you want to know what the biggest flaw that Terence Crawford have? And this is how I know he's going to get parked, punished, and stopped by Errol the True Spence. He's a hit me, I'm going to hit you back flawed DNA fighter style. When he gets hit, all boxing conventional wisdom, it goes out of his fucking head. And he wants to hit you back. Can't do that shit with Errol the True Spence. Because Errol the True Spence is Mr. Tactical Aggression, technical punching placement, and body snatching work. The levying onslaught of the punishment style. Errol the True Spence throws everything with mean fucking intentions. Every punch counts. You didn't hear Danny Garcia testify, dog? I thought we was in a church. Danny Garcia said, damn, dog, I didn't know his jab was that fucking good. I didn't know this motherfucker. He's a master. Go listen to Danny Garcia. This is what I try to tell you. You're not watching Errol the Truth Spence the way you should be watching him. Because if you were watching him, you would understand he's a master of inches and distance. This is what airfield fighter is all about. Andre Ward was an unofficial airfield fighter. I got to give him credit for that because he was a master of distance and inches. Floyd Money Mayweather, a master of inches and distance. This is why Errol the Truth Spence will dominate Terence Bud Crawford. Because what Errol the Truth Spence does, he does it special. Errol the Truth Spence is so simplistic in his style of being technically and fundamentally sound. You know what that means? That means he don't waste no fucking punches. Go look at those numbers when they come in every round. Errol the Truth Spence is just like Floyd Money Mayweather, 48% and higher in power punches, in punches being landed, because he don't waste fucking punches. Everything he throws counts. And it wears your rabbit ass down. Go look at Danny Garcia. He was wobbling after the third fucking round. It's because Danny Garcia was getting bull fucking dozed round by round. He was getting steam fucking rolled. And Errol the Truth Spence, Danny Garcia's fucking cherry. That's why Danny Garcia testified like he was in a church. That motherfucker's jab, dog, is so good. Angel Garcia was trying to say, but if my son would have done better, if he would have done this. No, Danny Garcia had to tell the truth. I can't lie. That motherfucking jab, dog, that shit was annoying. That shit's so good. That's what Errol the Truth Spence is going to do to Terence Bud Crawford. And Roger Mayweather said it best. A great jab will beat all of their ass. Let me say it again. A great jab will beat all of their ass. Derek James teaches Errol the Truth Spence the fundamentals. This is clearly what you need. Terence Bud Crawford fighting in that flawed DNA fighter style, hit me, I'm going to hit you back. That actually folds into Errol the Truth Spence's style. Because all Errol the Truth Spence got to do is just keep Terence Bud Crawford and hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And he's going to keep punishing his ass, dog. Until Terence Bud Crawford fold like a fucking pretzel. Why do you think Errol the Truth Spence looked at this motherfucker? He said, you too light in the ass. I will straight up stop you. You want to know why he said that? Because Errol the Truth Spence know when Terence Bud Crawford does the flawed DNA fighter style, and I broke this shit down so eloquently in another video. Errol the Truth Spence can fight Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez the same fucking way. He just needs to change up one variation, one aspect, and one style. Matter of fact, two of them. They both like to be comfortable in the ring. And you just got to make them uncomfortable. Errol the Truth Spence is a master of making you uncomfortable because he wears your ass out. He takes you to fucking deep waters. And then you got to fight these motherfuckers laterally. Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, they fight straight up. They don't do lateral. So that's why you saw Kell Brook was outboxing Terence Bud Crawford because he was fighting this motherfucker laterally for 3 fucking rounds. And then all of a sudden, Bob Arum looked at, go look at this shit. Bob Arum looked at Kell Brook and was like, are you going to fucking take the nosedive, nigga? And then he took it. And then all of a sudden, he got hit on the fucking shoulder and it was a knockout. So Terence Bud Crawford didn't throw nothing meaningful for 3 out of 4 fucking rounds. And then all of a sudden, he had enough power to drop Kell Brook, a big-ass fucking welterweight. Matter of fact, a guy that was already fighting at 160 that brought his ass back down to 147. Come on, man. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, Terence Bud Crawford is smoking fucking mirrors, man. And anybody that roots for Terence Bud Crawford and defends him at this point is beyond pathetic as fuck. Terence Bud Crawford is not what you fucking think that he is, man. Because if he was, he would be fighting lions at the welterweight division. And then let's talk about the fights that Terence Bud Crawford had and how he got exposed. Do you not understand that Jeff Horn, it took Terence Bud Crawford tooth and nail. Bob Arum had to yell at Jeff Horn and say, stop using your weight on Terence Bud Crawford for Terence Bud Crawford to hit his ass and get his ass up out of there. In the Amir Khan fight, Amir Khan literally did not throw no fucking punches because Amir Khan has speed. Even though he was 5 years past his prime at that time, he didn't even do that shit. He paid to fucking lose. You look at the Jose Benavidez fight, that's the only fight outside of the Mean Machine fight where they exposed Terence Bud Crawford. And you know Mean Machine was using Errol the Truth Spence's style? Woo! Don't get me started, dog. Did you know that he was using Errol the Truth Spence's style? But Mean Machine was on the shelf for 9 fucking months. You see what they did? This is what you're not telling people, Jalik. They got a guy, a Marvel character that was on the shelf for 9 fucking months. He came in there and dropped Terence Bud Crawford in 3 rounds. And he used Errol the Truth Spence style to do it. He wore Terence Bud Crawford's ass out through pressure. and expose Terence Bud Crawford's chin. Terence Bud Crawford's chinny chin chin. So don't sit here and try to tell me that Terence Bud Crawford's going to do this and he's going to do that. That's why Terence Bud Crawford re-signed with Top Rank. See, this is what you're not telling motherfuckers. Because if Terence Bud Crawford really wanted that free smoke, when his opportunity came for him to get with PBC and fight all of these guys, he should have done that shit. But nah, he re-signed with Top Rank because he wanted Bob Arum to protect his ass. That's why now Terence Bud Crawford's saying, oh, Shawn Porter's not worth. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at Shawn Porter's catalog. Shawn Porter is arguably one of the most decorated welterweights. And he's worth $1 million. It's a low ball. It's a financial duck. Because this is what Terence Bud Crawford do. You got to understand, Bob Arum always preserves his fighters for the slaughterhouse. He did this with Manny Pacquiao. He knew Manny Pacquiao could never fuck with Floyd Money Mayweather. He knew this shit. But he wanted to make sure that he drained this shit. See, motherfuckers don't tell you this shit. Bob Arum is the one that keeps doing this. See, you are being a dodo head because you're thinking that it's Errol the True Spence that's delayed. That's why Errol the True Spence said Bob Arum needs to stop. Y'all need to make sure Bob Arum stop lying to you motherfuckers. Bob Arum is the reason why Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather lasted as long as it did, because he had the rabbit ass nerve to say that Manny Pacquiao should get 50-50. Who's the one saying that Terence Bud Crawford should be 50-50? It's Bob Arum. So you want to blame any fucking body? You're going to blame Bob Arum and you're going to blame Terence Bud Crawford, because it's clear that Bob Arum is the one that's basically saying that Spence should get the same share that Terence Bud Crawford should get. And it's very fucking clear that Terence Bud Crawford doesn't want this fight, because if Terence Bud Crawford wanted this fight, he would have done what Sugar Ray Leonard did. See, this is why I like Sugar Ray Leonard, dog, because Sugar Ray Leonard was one of those guys in Top Rank that challenged Bob Arum. He was like, when Bob Arum told him, I don't want you fighting Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard said, I'm going to retire if I don't get him. Why is Terence Bud Crawford not having that mentality? But isn't that the person that Bob Arum said that he's the reenactment of? Get the fuck out of here. He ain't even the reenactment of that shit. Because Sugar Ray Leonard, every time he wanted to fight, he would threaten retirement. I don't care what anybody tells me about Bob Arum is this and that. That's Bud Manfan bullshit excuses, man. It's bullshit and fuck shit. If a fighter wants a fight, they're going to do any and everything to make sure they get that fucking fight. So it's a twofold problem. Bob Arum don't want Terence Bud Crawford to be in there until the stacking of the deck financially works in his favor. And Terence Bud Crawford ain't clamoring fast enough to fight Errol the True Spence. Because if he was, he would just say, fuck it, I'll do 40%. And Bob Arum, I don't give a fuck. You're going to do whatever you got to do. I want 40%. I want this fucking fight. And if I don't get this fight, I'm fucking retiring. And guess what? Bob Arum would have given him his demands. But you know why Terence Bud Crawford is not even at leverage to do that, and why Bob Arum treats him like the slave that he is because Terence Bud Crawford is not only boring as fuck, he's not marketable, man. He can't sell a fucking cookout, let alone a chicken dinner. That's why Bob Arum sized his ass up in public. I mean, the way he denigrated Terence Bud Crawford in fucking public. And Letitia Crawford, don't get me started. She fine as fuck. I'll give her that. She's a looker.
Yeah,
but Letitia Crawford, see, I know your ass is like, yeah, she a looker too. That's my boy Jalik, though. You know, we the one thing with me and Jalik, we know we got some taste. We got some fucking taste. That's a looker. But at the same time, Letitia Crawford had more cojones than fucking Terence Bud Crawford, man. She challenged Bob Arum. She said, man, fuck him. Fuck him. And you know what Terence Bud Crawford did? And this is that's why I don't respect Terence Bud Crawford, because he don't even respect himself. And I would think you, of all people that's on this conscious shit, that shit would have steered you away from Terence Bud Crawford. But you so much of a Bud Man fan, mediocre as fuck, that you still on this Bud shit. When you see a brother disrespect his own sister, I have no respect for you, man. Our black women are supposed to be our queens, dog. He can't even respect his own sister. He basically went right back to the master. And he basically said, okay, Bob Arum, him and Bomac, okay, I'm going to do whatever the fuck you guys tell me to do. See, the bottom line is this, from a boxing square standpoint, a boxing X's and O's standpoint, it's not about boxing when it comes to Spence versus Crawford. It's about punishment. See, this is what motherfuckers don't understand. That's what it was with Marvin Hagler versus Tommy Hitman Hearns. Errol the True Spence hit you everywhere. It is so much so, at the end of the fight, you pissing fucking Amber. That's how much Spence fucks your ass up. He hits you every fucking where. The question is, when he's hitting Terence Crawford everywhere, can Terence Crawford handle that shit? That's what I told motherfuckers. I already wrapped my head around it. Terence Crawford, contrary to what you think, he ain't a bad fighter. But Terence Crawford is likened to this because I said it so eloquently in my last video. Jaliktheleader, you know this shit. You've been in fraternities and shit like that, right? And in fraternities or whatnot, I ain't been in it, but I've been around it. Back in those days, because you know we a little older, motherfuckers used to have that paddle. They whoop motherfuckers, they beat motherfuckers, they haze motherfuckers with that shit, right? Well, if I was Terence Crawford's trainer, I would have a paddle. And every time this motherfucker did hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. I would hit him so hard on his fucking chin. I don't give a fuck if I broke his fucking chin. You know why? Because I'd be sending him the message. You see this bullshit flawed DNA fighter style? This shit gonna get you knocked out just like the way I hit you with this fucking paddle. Terence Crawford is a fighter that should be boxing on his fucking toes because he ain't got no fucking chin. Then he could do hit me, I'm gonna hit you back and lure motherfuckers in so that he could counter their ass. That would be what would be effective. It's like I gotta tell him how to fucking fight. That makes sense for him. This is how Terence Crawford will be able to hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, motherfucker, through the back foot. But all that front foot shit he do, go look at every fight when Terence Crawford got risky on the front foot. Somebody tested that chin and he got stanky leg, he got fucking wobbled, or like me, Machine, he got fucking dropped. All of this evidence points to you dealing with Errol the True Spence punch resistance, because this is what it boils down to, and this is how you're getting chopped up right now, round two. It's about punch resistance, man. Errol the True Spence, like Danny Garcia told you, Spence, that motherfucker hit, dog, and he breaks you down. His body work was tearing me down. Dog, go listen to Danny Garcia. The motherfucker's been testifying ever since. And Terence Crawford can't handle that shit. It's like the mighty Minonia. It's like the Thor with the Stormbreaker through Thanos' fucking chest, man. He can't handle that shit. Spence's punch resistance is ridiculous. It's off the fucking charts. Because Spence ain't Gervonta Tank Davis. He ain't knocking your ass out with one power. But through accumulation of punishment, he's systematically breaking your ass down. The Danny Garcia fight shows you that. Danny Garcia was slowing down. He wasn't moving the same. It's because Spence was systematically breaking his rabbit ass down. Sean Porter, we saw this by the 11th round. He wasn't moving the same. Spence was breaking his fucking ass down. Because those body shots that Terence Crawford, when he confronted Errol the True Spence, said, oh, that shit ain't gonna get in. Bull fucking shit. Because if you, Julius Ndago, could hit your ass with 3 body shots and make you go do the film study on that, man, Spencer, wear his ass out with the fucking body. Because like I said, Terence Crawford does too many reckless things for people to even be comparing him to Floyd Mayweather. And then this last point, when you sat here and said, well, Floyd Mayweather said he was number 1, blah, 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 blah. Floyd liked to play mind games, man. Floyd don't believe in no damn Terence Crawford. Because if he believed in Terence Crawford, he wouldn't have said that Errol the True Spence was the truth. Floyd wouldn't have sat there and said, this guy right here, if you could beat him, he told Keith Thurman that shit. You forgot that shit? Sean Porter, you forgot that shit? Danny Garcia, all them motherfuckers, you forgot that shit? He said $10 million to fight Spence. None of them motherfuckers wanted it because they knew they couldn't get past Spence to get to Floyd. Floyd treats Errol Spence the way Michael Jordan treated Kobe fucking Bryant. It's a translucent and transparent image. And you guys have to understand the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant mindset. That's the Floyd Mayweather and Errol the True Spence mindset. It's a competitive mindset. So as competitors, they always gonna feel that they ain't second to the other. And Floyd has the right to feel the way that he feels, sometimes by trying to undermine Errol the True Spence. But Errol the True Spence undermine his ass too. You're Errol the True Spence. If I fight Floyd, I'm gonna punish his ass. Because at that level, you are second to none. That's that ultimate true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. So at times, they gonna go at it. See, this is what motherfuckers don't understand. They can't get it because 97% of the planet are pure fucking beta supremes. So they don't understand that alpha mindset. Alphas go at it, dog. That don't mean they're at war. It just means that it's a level of respect that only they understand at that level. If you notice, every time Floyd is around Spence, cordial. Every time Spence is around Floyd, cordial. Because when it's all said and done, Floyd knew he passed the keys to Spence. So him telling Terence Crawford that Terence Crawford was number 1 pound for pound was switching bait. You ever heard of that term? It's to bring up Terence Crawford's rabbit ass so that Terence Crawford could feel some type of way so that he could actually be pushed. You don't understand what Floyd did. That's what I do with business transactions. It's that fucking switcheroo on motherfucker. Build your confidence up. Roller coaster your rabbit ass up. Make you feel good so that you do exactly what I want you to do indirectly, vicariously. And then once you do it, I can laugh at your ass when you get done the fuck up. He was doing that so that Bud could cap off and really get the Spence fight. So that he could be on the back end and laugh when Spence punished Bud ass. But Errol the True Spence don't believe that shit. You know why? Because Leonard Ellerbe always testifying. You see, it's one thing when you see what a motherfucker say and you, Jaliktheleader, you fell for that bullshit and fuck shit. It's another thing when you see everything else that tells you otherwise. Leonard Ellerbe till this day still talking about that Spence and that Floyd sparring and how it was a real fight and how he don't see nobody could fuck with Errol the True Spence. So again, when you brought that up to a novice, they probably be like, oh, Jalik brought up something. Nah, man, you dealing with me, the ether, the mercury, and the napalm. I could counter any and every fucking thing. So round 2, he knows the sport, dog. Go ahead, let's go to round 3.
Let's get it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to all your burner accounts. Shout out to everybody. Happy New Year. I forgot to say this. Listen, let me say, because you be spitting half truths in there. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose.
There's no half truths, Dad.
Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't an exclusive promoted by Top Rank. When they made that fight, he had a guy by the name of Mike Traynor was his lawyer. So coming out of the 76 Olympics, he was the guy that was getting him all these big purses. So he was in a situation where he was the A side and he was able to get these big fights. And if you go look at the if you go look at the Terence Hearns fight, he said, you need to build up your popularity like Duran for you to get the fight. And then he beat Pepino Cuevas. So then he was eventually able to get the fight. So even though he was playing the same role that Errol Spence does, you got to give him props because he actually took the fight. Now, let's look at Al Heyman. If I was a fighter, I would probably most likely work with Heyman. However, I would have my own team behind me because Al Heyman doesn't speak. He's an advisor. But me personally, I'm able to build up and do things beyond what Al Heyman does. But anybody with a logical state of mind that doesn't have a burner account by the name of He Knows His Sports, because we got to look at the analytics. YouTube is a business, right? How many videos did he make when he was talking about how much money did you make off the Mikey Garcia analytics? How much AdSense did you get? Because you made like 300 videos saying he's going to do something to Mikey, and he done the same thing. Isn't it kind of strange that he's so one-sided against Errol Spence? So no matter what, he will always have a psychological confirmation bias. I'm going to say that again, psychological confirmation bias. Because if he's making a lot of AdSense on his channel based on Errol Spence, why would he want Crawford to knock him out? Hence, why he always brings up obstacles. And instead of being a fan of boxing and wanting to see the best, he just wants his guy to continue to stay undefeated because it generates money. Kind of like somebody from his team, like Derek James, that will get into Derek James' pocket once Bud Crawford knocks him out. Everybody knows he's going to knock him out. He's going to look like Chad Dawson. And that doesn't mean he's not a good fighter, but he will do that. Now, you mentioned Mean Machine fighting like Errol Spence. You're wrong because one, he's a southpaw. So it's two different hands, two different angles. So that's a totally different thing. Now, we've seen that he was anxious to get the knockout. He wasn't really hurt, but he was off balance and he fell. So you got to call it a knockdown. But he came back up and knocked him out. He knocked him out. And this is a guy that started off at 135. And if you look at Mean Machine's record, he's an Olympian and he's a good fighter. So y'all try to trash him to make Bud Crawford look weak. Then Victor Postal, once again. Victor Postal, shout out to He Knows His Sports burner account, Tyrone Spencer, one of his burner accounts. Look, Victor Postal got paid step-aside money by Danny One Gear Garcia, who, by the way, lost 9 rounds. But let me point out something in the Errol Spence fight, because I'm not going to reveal everything to you, because I might buy me a Benz truck off this fight. I might just buy me a Benz truck, or I might just, buy me a Benz truck off this fight. Listen, Danny Garcia has very short arms. If you look at the fight with Errol Spence, when he opened up on Errol Spence, he was easily able to hit him on the body. Now, long arm Crawford, who can move around the ring, that has more levels and tricks to his game, what do you think he's going to do to Errol Spence? Also, he's not going to lose with a jab. He's going to adjust to his jab. One thing that Crawford does, in each fight, he shows you something different. He doesn't fight the same. Errol Spence fights the same way. And I'm going to point something else out to you guys, to burner account Tyrone Spencer. Shout out to his burner. He knows the sports burner account, Ty Spence. Errol Spence is not a great counterpuncher, so you can punch with Errol Spence. He's a good fighter, but he still has some amateurish ways about him. He likes to cover up on defense. So if you punch with him and counter his punches, it's going to be a totally different ball game. So he's used to being physically bigger, hence man down, hence you too small. Whatever comes out your mouth is what's in your heart. I'm going to repeat that. Whatever comes out your mouth is in your heart. So if you just going around thinking you beating guys off of physical size, and you go to the distance with 126 pounders, that does something to you psychologically. And break this down. lost Keith Thurman by unanimous decision. Unanimous decision. Guess what? On the scorecard of him versus Errol Spence, Larry Hazard Jr. had him winning 7 rounds. 7 rounds. So what does that tell you? Once again, his confidence is not the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's levels to this boxing. If Crawford was so easy, we all got to admit that this is the fight that everybody want to see. So if this is the fight that everybody want to see, this is going to be Errol Spence's biggest fights. Why are you creating all these obstacles? Is it to get your AdSense money up? Like he knows his sports. He knows his sports, using the AdSense money to pay his gas and electric. He used the AdSense money. You hear that? You hear how that game work? It's all about AdSense. If you notice, people always act like his manager. Why are you protecting Errol Spence? I thought you wanted to see the best fight the best. Why is it a problem? Everybody know that Bud Crawford has done way more than Danny One Gear Garcia. Danny Garcia has beaten nobody at 147. He had a controversial win against Robert Guerrero. Controversial win against Mauricio Herrero. But at 140, he was a better fighter. He's a gatekeeper at 140. That's just what it is. Now you look at Jose Benavidez. Jose Benavidez had a challenge with his knees, but he is an undefeated fighter, and he came to fight. He actually called Crawford out. Nobody is calling him out. If you understand business, they're doing what you call colluding. Kaepernick, the NFL colluded against him because they didn't want him to get a job. Al Heyman and PBC are colluding against Terence Crawford because they don't want him to fight him. Hence why when they have fights, they don't even bring the WBO up. Why don't they want to bring the WBO up? That's disrespectful. That's you, the pound for pound champion, and you don't bring the WBO up. But you'll bring the WBO up when one of your smaller fighters at 122, like Floyd fighter, is going to fight for the WBO. You see the double standards here? I'm trying to break it down for you guys. Now, whatever money they get, I want them to get the most money as possible. I don't get paid off these guys. I keep it 100. Like I said, Earl is a good fighter, but he's the new Keith Thurman. Whenever you bring up Bud name, he said, I want to go fishing. I want to go play with my reptiles. I want to go play with my horses. He does it. And the crazy thing about it, Terence Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska, shout out to Omaha, Nebraska, home of Malcolm X. He came to Dallas, wanting to smoke. He came to Dallas wanting to smoke, and they protected him. It's like he a little kid, bro. It's like he's literally bullying this guy, and y'all can't even see it. But once again, because y'all feeling of importance comes from this guy retiring undefeated. If he get knocked out, he get knocked out. Y'all feeling of importance comes from Errol Spence retiring undefeated. Why is that? When did grown ass men become fanagers and protectors like you, brother. When did it happen? When did this happen? I like Terence Crawford, but if he get knocked out, he just get knocked out. Because I'm a real fan of boxing. As long as you don't make no excuses or use no PEDs or something crazy, I'm still gonna be your fan, bro. So even if you get knocked out on your shield, I'ma still be your fan, bro. So these guys is under the illusion that they trying to be Floyd. He trying to act like he Floyd, but he's not putting up Floyd numbers. The maximum pay-per-views is like 200 or 300 and something. And the crazy thing about it, y'all talking about chin. Sean Porter is not even a big puncher. Not only is he not a big puncher, he doesn't throw straight punches. So you tell me that if Sean Porter buzzed him and hurt him, imagine what Crawford is going to do. This is going to be easy money. I hope you go to that fight. He knows the sports, so we can meet in person. And if you want to put your money up, we can do that. Because like I said, I might buy me a Benz truck with all the money I'm going to do. You guys have to read between the lines. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Why is it that he got all these obstacles? Why won't they come out and say, you know what, we're going to make the fight happen? And we can do it behind the scenes. Now, if you Terence Crawford, right, you deal with your business, right? You deal with business, right? He knows his sports. Imagine somebody just telling you should lower the rent on your thing, or you should do this. What are you going to tell them? Exactly. So what makes you think Terence Crawford is just going to lower his standards just to please the people? Now, I'm sure they can come up with a solution once they behind the scenes, but when you're in front of everybody, how would that look to even succumb to somebody on there? That's like nobody's gonna say, okay, it makes you look desperate. So you handle that behind the scenes. Now we know there's two ways to talk yourself out of a fight. Either ask for too much money because you know you're not really worth that, or offer the person very little money and you know they're gonna turn it down. So it's many ways to turn the fight down. Porter buzzed him. Go look at the fight. He had him moving backwards. Larry Hazard Jr. had him winning 7 rounds, bro. Larry Hazard Jr. Hold on. See, my dog know y'all talking that bullshit. Hold on, Os. Well, I'm just warming up on it. Give it 1 second. Hold on 1 second. So, like I said, Errol Spence is a good fighter. If Crawford is going to take his confidence away, he's going to stop him, and everybody's going to be like, "Whoa, man, this man down." And guess what? Excuses. I'm gonna tell you the excuses they're gonna have. I'm setting y'all up, because if they ever fight, I'm setting y'all up for what the excuse is gonna be. Burner account Tyrone Spencer is gonna say something like this. He's gonna say, "Well, Errol Spence, he was having problems making weight. And he was ready to go to 154. My homie JC is gonna say the only reason why Crawford won because he didn't have Blu-ray." So excuses. Look at the excuses already. Terence Crawford not gonna let you beat him with a jab. He can, when he throw his jab, he can take your jab away. He can crouch down. He can move around the ring better. His ring generalship is better. Their defense is around the same, but his secret weapon, that right hook, is devastating. And he's a good body puncher. And like I said before, he's smart. The ability to make adjustments is there. Also, if I can see that he's intimidated, he gonna walk right through him because he knows that homeboy is intimidated by him. If you can't knock out a quitter and Mikey Garcia, you go on a distance, you're not really knocking nobody out. Like it's over, man.
You done? All right, now. Let me cancel Christmas on your ass for round 3, dog, because I'm up 2-0, so let's just continue to be up. All right, first and foremost, you contradicted yourself. Early on, you said you all about fighters getting their money. That's what you said in round 1 when I killed you. Now, all of a sudden, it's about, is he going to get his money? Is he not going to get? You talking too sideways out of your ass. I done told you guys, man. Fin straddlers. He knows sport had plenty of fin straddlers and engage in talking too sideways out of their ass throughout the inception of this platform. I either murk them because all you got to do is present the side that makes sense when they talk too sideways out of their ass. You talking too sideways out of your ass crack right now, man. You're not making any sense, dog. And when you say he knows the sport got burner accounts, no, ain't he knows sport got burner account. Name a YouTuber that he knows the sport ain't influenced, though. And the bottom line is, motherfuckers, they fuck with the channel because he knows sport is authentic and consistent as fuck from day one. I'm telling you the truth. No pun intended. And the truth is simple as this.
Spence has the heavyweight lifting, man. Terence Bud Crawford doesn't have it. And this is what puzzles me about Terence Bud Crawford fanboy man crush. You're accusing us that are Errol Spence fans of the very thing that you guys are doing. You guys don't want the issue, because the bottom line is, when we sit here and we look at Terence Bud Crawford, you guys make all of these excuses for him. It's very fucking simple. Take your fucking 40%. And if you are truly a Bud Man fan, right, you should be telling them this shit. I'm not talking about a delusional one. I'm not talking about a brain full of mush and a brainwashed dodo head variation. I'm talking about a real Bud Man fan. If you are that, you will challenge him and tell him, take your fucking 40%, because you haven't done anything that showcases why you should be on the same level. Isn't it interesting? Your ringleader, the IBFPs of the world, the guy that always is tweeting me back and forth, bend the proverbial fucking knee to he knows his sport and say he knows his sport. I'm gonna admit, dog, Terence Bud Crawford's the B fucking side. Tuck fucking tail. If your leader's saying that shit, Jalik, y'all all need to tuck fucking tail and say the same shit too. Because he came to the conclusion. He said he knows you've been right all along, dog, about Spence. I'm not gonna lie, he's the A side. Because in boxing, you gotta understand, boxing is a prize sport, man. They don't call it prize fighting for no fucking reason. It's prize fighting because you gotta make money. It ain't just about these motherfuckers stepping into the square circle. And I told you guys, boxing is a three-pronged monster: economics, politics, and pugilism. In every fight, there's an A side and there's a B side. You should fucking know this, Jalik. Otherwise, you've been living under a fucking rock. Oh, my bad. All of you Bud Man fans, Omaha, Nebraskans, y'all always living under a fucking rock. It's like y'all always late to the fucking party. Y'all missing a few screws in the head. Because it seems that y'all allergic to understanding the A side, B side equation. Errol the True Spence told Terence Bud Crawford, bend the proverbial fucking knee. I make motherfuckers bend the fucking knee all the time. You know this, Jalik. You had to bend the fucking knee through email. I make niggas bend the fucking knee. That's what I do. I'm a business negotiator. I will always get my way. Because it's either you're going to bend the fucking knee willingly or you're going to bend the fucking knee forcefully. Either way, you're going to bend the fucking knee. When you're the A side, that's what you do. That's what he's doing to Terence Bud Crawford. He's making him bend the proverbial fucking knee. Because he has to. Otherwise, you either forced to bend the proverbial fucking knee or I don't fucking need you. This is why Terence Bud Crawford fanboy man crushers are now saying, well, Errol the True Spence going to fight Canelo Alvarez. That means he's ducking Terence Bud Crawford. You Rudy Poo and Plum Plum Brats. You classic Dolce Troglodytes. You ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy. If Errol the True Spence fight Canelo Alvarez, Terence Bud Crawford is an afterthought. Because that's a way, way, way harder fucking fight. That means Errol the True Spence don't need to fight Bud. So if Bud is smart, he better not let Errol the True Spence fight Canelo, because that will be his opportunity to get the fucking fight. That's what I was trying to tell you, motherfuckers. You Bud Man fans. You miserable as fuck, mediocre as fuck, beyond pathetic as fuck Bud Man fans. You don't get it. Spence has the options here. Bud has no fucking option. His option is to get on his fucking knees, bend it proverbially, and kiss the ring while he's at it. That's it. That's his only fucking option. Absence that, we ain't talking no boxing. And then Spence will willingly whoop his ass. Spence want to whoop his ass so bad. But Spence is telling you, like James Harden needs to do with Kevin Durant, bend the proverbial fucking knee. Make your public proclamation. You are the B side. Once that happens, Spence will sign that contract so fast. And see, what you don't understand is Al Heyman, that was the only thing that came out of your mouth that makes sense. He's an advisor. He's not a fucking promoter. So Al Heyman is not there telling these guys how they should run their affairs. So when you hear Errol the True Spence, all these guys say they're their own boss, they are their own boss. Because you know what's the difference between Spence and Crawford and them? They have an LLC. His LLC is called Man Down Promotions. You can quantify, calculate, verify that shit. So Spence is his own boss. Terence Bud Crawford's not his own boss because he's under the old system of boxing, which is Bob Arum tells him every fucking thing to do. Bob Arum knows that Terence Bud Crawford is a Negro that's missing a few screws. Bob Arum knows that Terence Bud Crawford is boring as fuck. Bob Arum knows that Terence Bud Crawford can't sell a cookout, let alone a chicken dinner. So Bob Arum is doing all of these things that he normally does. This is the top-ranked way of promoting. It's lazy as fuck. You fight all of these trilogies and this and that. You know why Bob Arum's mad at Terence Bud Crawford, Jalik? Let me tell you why. Terence Bud Crawford was supposed to lose against Kell Brook. That's what Bob Arum wanted. Bob Arum been punishing Terence Bud Crawford since, because he wanted to get at least a two fight out of that situation. And Terence Bud Crawford didn't even tuck ass to do what he was supposed to. So Bob Arum been publicly, when you see Bob Arum is publicly shining you, it's because you're not doing what Bob Arum is telling you to do. I told you, JL, you would have stayed around. You ain't gonna sign off because I'm talking right now. You know he knows the sport is talking. Ain't nobody signing off there. Thank you, EB Sweater. I said facts, he knows sport. I never really looked at it like that. Wonderful breakdown, he knows sport. Boxing knowledge is the truth. That's it. Well, you know what, he knows the sport talk. Get the popcorn out, dog, and just have at it. Because I'm telling you that heat and that fire, dog. And I'm keeping the foot on the work on the next. I'm keeping the foot on the work on the next. Bottom line is this. Bob Arum wanted Terence Bud Crawford to fucking lose against Kell Brook. And Terence Bud Crawford couldn't even follow the script of that. This is what Bob Arum did to Vasily Lomachenko. That's why I had to purge my fucking channel. Because you have motherfuckers that got wayward, Jalik. That's why we have this new live system going on. Because people don't understand I'm a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. I don't bend the proverbial fucking knee. I make you bend the proverbial fucking knee. And if you don't tug ass and toe the fucking line, I can revamp and do a new fucking live. It ain't nothing for me. Shit. I'm the leader here, though. I'm a business extraordinaire. I could create new shit. Look at this shit. This is the first live and it's jumping like a motherfucker. You know why? Because I'm a visionary. I know how to put personalities together. I know me and Jalik, our personalities are so epic because it's polar opposite. If you've watched Fists of the North Star, I'm Kenshiro and his ass is Shin, the Fist of the South Star. Kenshiro beats up Shin like nobody's business. That's what's happening here in this live. But because Jalik brings a certain, and I give Jalik that, because he brings a certain element to him, he has a way that he talks that make people hate him, it works. And that's why polar opposite work, because Jalik has that unique ability. But I know how to piece this shit together. That's what motherfuckers don't understand. So that's why when I tell motherfuckers, when I'm doing collabs with motherfuckers, and I tell you bend the fucking knee, to me, you have to bend the fucking knee. Because my vision is second to none. Now, anyways, back on to what we say. Now Jalik understands. My vision is second to none. Now, let's get back onto this. Bottom line is this. When we sit here and look at Terence Bud Crawford, the issue with Terence Bud Crawford is Terence Bud Crawford is a fighter that Bob Arum is using to prepare for the slaughterhouse, man. That's what you don't understand, Jalik. Bob Arum knows that Terence Bud Crawford can't beat Errol the True Spence. And if Bob Arum could do a switcheroo and a switch, and he could have Errol the True Spence, he would have him. Do you not know when Errol the True Spence first lined up, everybody was lining to get him? Bob Arum was the first one that wanted Errol the True Spence as a fighter. Did you not know this shit? Did you not fucking know this shit? So it's funny as fuck when people say this shit. So to me, Jaliktheleader, and this is what makes me laugh at its highest levels, as simple as this. Terence Bud Crawford just needs to tuck ass. He needs to bend the fucking knee because he's not doing what he's supposed to get the money from Top Rank. And to elaborate more on what I was talking about when I said Bob Arum wanted Terence Bud Crawford to lose in Kell Brook fight, is because Bob Arum wanted that strategy so that he could make Terence Bud Crawford a household name. Because Bob Arum felt that he had to do everything because Terence Bud Crawford is boring as fuck. And Terence Bud Crawford's from Omaha, Nebraska. He has no story. He's like Devin Haney. He has no fucking story. So he has to be a parasite to another person that has a story. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. You hear me? Hear me? Fucking well. He's a fucking parasite. Just like Devin Haney is with Gervonta Tank Davis. You see, Devin Haney has no fucking story. Ain't nobody checking for Devin Haney. He's boring as fuck. So he has to be a parasite to Gervonta Tank Davis's host. That's the same thing with Terence Bud Crawford. He has to be a parasite to Errol the True Spence host. Don't you see everywhere Errol the True Spence go, Terence Bud Crawford's there? Why do you think Errol the True Spence was like, damn, this nigga following me every fucking where? What the fuck? There was a fight that Errol the True Spence at. Errol Spence said, why they got this Omaha, Nebraska sitting right next to me? This corny as fuck motherfucker sitting right next to me. He didn't want to sit next to him then. Because Errol Spence is real like that. And your ass from Texas, I assume, then you should know. Texas motherfuckers, they only want to deal with you when they only want to deal with you. And when they don't want to deal with your ass, they don't want to deal with your ass. Am I lying, Jalik? You from Texas, you should know this shit. They want to deal with your ass, they deal with your ass. But they want to deal with your ass, they don't want to deal with your ass. So the bottom line is this. When we sit here and we look at the delineation, the distinction, the gulf, and the separation between Errol the True Spence and Terence Crawford, it's as simple as this. Spence is the A side. So as the A side, he should be getting the A side equation money. As the A side, he should be getting the A side equation spoils. Terence Crawford is the B side. And as long as Terence Crawford bends the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring like they do with the Pope, the fight is going to happen. You will see how fast Errol the True Spence signed this fucking fight. Because now Terence Crawford will know his role, know his place, live in that motherfucker, and operate in that motherfucker. Just like motherfuckers that frequent He Knows the Sports channel. Know your role, live in that motherfucker, operate it, and stay in it. See? I ain't from Dallas. But see, I just know because real recognize real. Look what Dallas Cowboy fan for life said. Facts. We move with a code. I just could tell. You know why I gravitate towards Errol the True Spence? I'm going to tell you why, Jalik. Because I see realness in him, man. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. Motherfuckers think that I'm just a fan of somebody. If y'all ain't catch it, He Knows the Sport is a narcissist. So I have to see myself in somebody for me for the roof for them. I can tell y'all that shit because I don't give a fuck. I'm a narcissist, man. So I got to see myself in that person for me to root for that person. Errol the True Spence, I see something in me, in him. That's why I fuck with him. Other than that, if I didn't see myself in him, I wouldn't be fucking with Spence. Now you understand why I fuck with Spence, Jalik? Because I see a personality of myself in Spence. What you see is what you get. Authenticity and consistency. That's it. Whereas with Bud, he fits your personality. He talks too sideways out of his ass. He don't know where the fuck he stands. He's telling you one thing, but his actions is telling you something else. That's the difference. That's the delineation. That's the gulf, and that's the fucking separation. So for Spence and Crawford to happen, fight fans like you, see, and I got to educate you, Jalik, fight fans like you need to open your rabbit ass mouth and you need to say, Bud, accept your B side. And once you do that, then guess what's going to happen? The fight is going to fucking happen. See, I'm educating you, Jalik. That's why you're getting your ass whooped in round fucking 3. Tell Bud, look, Bud, you want this fucking fight? Fall in line, bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring while you at it, and accept your B side. That's it. And see, Kakawawasa, the difference between me and LeBron James is LeBron is just a weird ass fucking narcissist. He don't know how to be a narcissist. There's levels to this narcissism. Some narcissists just don't know how to be narcissists. LeBron is boring as fuck. LeBron is stupid. I know how to do it. So that's the difference between the both of us. I know you want to bring that shit up. That's the difference between the both of us. Errol the True Spence is a narcissist. See, he's just a humble narcissist. I know it's like, what, humble? Yeah, he's a humble variation of it. Floyd Mayweather's a narcissist. Everybody at that alpha level, that true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, they narcissists, man. Errol the True Spence is a narcissist. So kiss the fucking ring. Bend the fucking knee. That's it, dog. I'm gonna have to start saying that shit every video. Bend the fucking knee. And once he does that shit, the fight will fucking happen. So Jalik, I'm educating you, I'm schooling you, and I'm basically indoctrinating you, and I'm doing what's called proselytization. I'm basically apostatizing you, taking all that nonsense out of your brain, and then proselytizing you and making you understand the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion. And the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion simple as this. You as a Bud Man fan have a responsibility. Go to Bud and say, look, you can find him on Twitter. You can find him on Facebook. You want this fucking fight, you better tuck ass, bend the fucking knee, kiss the ring while you at it, and then take your 40%. This is the only way Spence gonna fight your ass. Spence made it very clear when he was interviewed. He showed you his full narcissism. Spence said, tuck fucking ass. That's it. He ain't ducking Terence Crawford. He's just letting Terence Crawford know on the pecking order, you ain't there. That's why Meek Mill said the greatest thing ever. There's levels to this shit. There's fucking gears. And the gears is simple as this. He ain't on the same pecking order with Errol the True Spence. So when you see all these motherfuckers, not burner accounts, these are real G's, super real G's, and ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets lining up where he knows his sport, is because he knows his sport is telling you authenticity and consistency. He's telling you truth-telling fashion. That's as simple as this. Terence Crawford needs to know he's the B fucking side here. And any fight fans, because I'm seeing a whole bunch of YouTube channels telling you that Errol the True Spence need to make concession. Y'all don't get it. You don't ever tell a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics what to do. When you tell them what to do, it's like it go through one ear and out the other. They cut against the grain. Good luck with that shit. I done seen all these fucking channels telling Spence he need to do 50-50. Good fucking luck with that shit. That means you ain't getting the fucking fight. That was these same motherfuckers saying, oh, Errol Spence, he need to get back with Blu-ray. 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 Thank you, AJ. He says some narcissists are extremely biased. He knows his sport is not. He's just straight up with facts and truth. That's it. See? I'm a balanced and biased narcissist, though. That's it. Thank you, AJ to J. But anyway, back on to what we was talking about here. When we look at this situation, Jalik, you have to ask yourself a fundamental truth. And the fundamental truth is simple as this. All Terence Crawford has to do is bend the fucking knee, kiss the fucking ring, and the fight is going to fucking happen. It's really that simple. And all of these YouTubers trying to tell Spence, good fucking luck. This is what I told you guys. They were ravening wolves. You know what ravening wolves is? The Bible tells you this. These are people that put sheep's clothing on. They're basically fake as fuck Errol the True Spence fans, but really they're Bud Man fans, ravening wolves. They trying to tell Spence how to do this and how to do that. If you're a true Spence fan, then you know you're going to tell Bud, tuck fucking ass. That's it. That's all Spencer fan is telling Bud. Tuck fucking ass. I mean, what's hard here? Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had to tuck fucking ass. Well, Spence versus Crawford got to tuck fucking ass. And you know, if AJ and Deontay Wilder fight, guess what? Deontay Wilder will have to tuck fucking ass. See, I said it because AJ got a bigger name. And Deontay, this is the difference between Deontay Wilder and fucking Terence Crawford. Deontay Wilder would gladly fucking tuck fucking ass because he knows he would be the 40% in the situation. You see the difference? You see the delineation? You see the gulf? You see the separation? This is the difference between someone that understands minor setback for a major comeback in Deontay Wilder's situation and somebody like Terence Crawford that doesn't get it. So really what it boils down to, Jalik, and you're not telling people, is why is Terence Crawford making all of these excuses to not take the 40%? It's because he don't want that free smoke with Errol the True Spence. He don't want the fight. That's what I ration my brain behind. He's smoking fucking mirrors. Because if he wanted this fight, he would take his B-side gladly. Floyd did it with Oscar De La Hoya, and what happened? Floyd ain't looked back since. Errol the True Spence did it with Kell Brook. What happened? He ain't looked back since. So what the fuck is Terence Crawford's problem? Why can't he accept it? It's because he don't want the fight because he knows Spence will embarrass his ass. And after that Spence fight, ain't nobody going to be checking for Bud. He's a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. Round 3. He knows his sport. Go ahead, Doc.
Let me say, shout out to Errol. I don't know. It's an echo. What is this? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I hear you, bro.
Now I got an echo coming on my end. Okay, there we go. So shout out to everybody in the chat so far. Shout out to everybody. Make sure y'all smash the thumbs up. I'm Jaliktheleader. Let me teach this guy a lesson, because once again, when people become afraid, you can expose them. They start talking about material possessions, right? So I'm gonna expose these superficial people that don't even understand money. They don't understand that money is just fiat money. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. But I'm not gonna get too deep on it. I'm gonna just break it down for y'all to understand this money, right? And this is all I'm gonna say, because I told you I want everybody to have the maximum amount of money. So you take 2 fighters, one guy is the A side, another guy is the B side. The A side fighter makes 10 million and the B side fighter makes 7 million. I don't know the exact percentage. Is that 70? I don't know what the actual percentage is, but he made $3 million more. Now, on paper, it appears that your A side fighter made more money, but then you also have to take in consideration what we call debt. So if the guy that makes the A side fighter made 10 million, but he's in a lot of debt of 9 million, he only bring home $1 million. So you make 10 million, but you got all this debt of 9 million, so you only made 1. And then you have the B side fighter allegedly who made $7 million, but yet he only have debt of 2 million. So he brung home 5. So who really is the A side fighter? So don't get caught up in the illusion of money, because money and pussy is two of the biggest trickeries that can manipulate a man in this world. And when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. I said, when the students are ready, the teacher shall appear. So let me teach y'all something else. The A side, when you get in the ring, the A side can't fight for you. The A side cannot fight for you. Now, they might get you a decision or something, but Bud has knocked out everybody since Victor Postal. It's not going to go a decision. Now, of course, Errol Spence will be smart to have a thing. So do you guys remember a guy by the name of Roy Jones Jr.? A great fighter, right? And do you also remember a guy by the name of Antonio Tarver? Now, do your research on that. Roy Jones at the time knew Antonio Tarver was a challenge, so right to the WBC because he understood that Tarver was a big challenge. Fast forward to him winning the heavyweight championship against John Ruiz. He moved down to 175 and had a real tough fight. And I'm sure in all of his fights, he was the A side. But guess what happened in the second fight? You got any excuses? He got knocked the fuck out. So all this A side talk from these managers on YouTube needs to stop. It's 2021. None of you niggas is making money off of their money. Y'all pocket watching grown men. Y'all don't even understand money. Half y'all niggas probably got fucked up credit 600, but I still love y'all because y'all just don't know the game. And I'm going to teach y'all when the student is ready, the teacher should appear. Money, don't get caught up in the illusion of money. I want these guys, if they can get 50 million, 60 million, because we know this is the Jay-Z and Nas of our time. So we want to see the fight. So whether he's the ace or not, he's still going to get knocked out. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. If he was with Al Heyman, the fight might go the distance. The reason why? Because what you're doing with him, you're building up a lot of resentments in Earl. You build up a lot of resentments in Crawford, and he's getting mad, and he's getting madder and madder. Y'all keep doubting him and doubting him and doubting him and doubting him, and guess what? He's going to knock his ass out just to prove to you that he's the best. When you look at Errol, listen, let me talk about the mental game again. If you get lost, I can't dumb myself down. You got to look at the world past the superficial. Like, I can't think for y'all. Like, it's one thing about me, I'm not a dumbass jock. If you suffer from dumb jock syndrome, you don't understand what I'm saying, I can't break too much shit down for you. Understand this. If you look at Crawford, they was trying to put Lomachenko as the #1 fighter when he was standing next to Crawford and Andre Ward in 2017. Even when Andre Ward was fighting, Crawford believed that he was the #1 fighter in the world. It's his mind state. He has the mind state. He stays in shape. He stays in the gym. And once again, Errol Spence doesn't have the style to beat him. A fighter that's going to give him problems to be a right-handed fighter. And I'm going to be honest with you. Errol Spence is a good fighter, but stylistically, like I told y'all, he has amateurish ways that homeboy is going to take advantage of. One of them is he doesn't counterpunch. He lets you finish first. So if he's not the aggressor and dictating the fight, he's not effective going backwards. Just because you can fight going backwards doesn't mean you're effective going backwards. He's not physically stronger than him. Once again, Shane Mosley was bigger than Floyd. Look at the fight. Who was stronger in the fight? So also, this is the situation that Errol Spence is in. If he moves up to 154, Jamel Charlo is about to get, listen, Jamel Charlo is about to be undisputed if Brian Castano beats Texera, which, shout out to Jamel Charlo. He don't duck that smoke. You got to give him his credit, whether you like him or not. he's about to be undisputed. So unless Jermell Charlo is moving up to 160, what the fuck will Errol Spence even do at 154? He gonna fight his stablemate, and that's gonna create division. Of course, Derek James don't want that. So maybe he becomes undisputed and move to 160, and then he's there with his brother. So he's stuck in a bad situation. And also what's creeping up on Errol Spence too is the fact that Jaron Boots Ennis is coming up. And I've been saying this before. It's Jaron Boots Ennis is not a good style for Errol Spence neither. Errol Spence is the hunted now. He's no longer the hunter. So when you become the hunted and your bank account is fat and you're not eating oodles and noodles, and he probably eating the best foods. He can skip the line at everywhere in Texas because they treat him like a star because he's a great fighter and he's deserving of these accolades. So I'm not shitting on him, but it's a whole new different mind state. Coming from the cornfields of Nebraska, Terence Crawford mind state is he don't care about that. He don't brag. He not flashy. He's a whole new different ball game. He's a whole new different ball game. So Esau the devil, see, when they can't understand something, they just stay on babbling because you don't understand the world beyond the world of superficiality. I'm trying to school you guys to let you know plain and simple. So when it happens, you're gonna be like, what happened to Errol Spence? A lot of y'all gonna be hurt. A lot of you are gonna change your channels down. I'm not gonna be hurt, but I'm gonna be like I told you, I'm not even gonna rub it in because I know boxing. And I understand that Errol Spence is good for boxing. I don't want nothing to happen to him. I want him to reach his full potential because at the end of the day, if you're going to lose, why would Errol Spence rather lose to Danny Garcia instead of losing to Crawford? It looks better, in your opinion. If you're going to look on your resume, at least you can say to yourself, I lost to Crawford. And let me say this about Canelo. Errol Spence and Crawford, Bud is Errol's biggest fight. Now, you see him mentioning Canelo. Let me tell you why he's mentioning Canelo. Because once again, we got to look at the psychology because a lot of you niggas is on that dumb jock syndrome on a world of superficiality. Let me break it down for you. When a student is ready, the teacher shall appear. Remember Mikey Garcia was in line to fight Lomachenko? It's easier to move up in weight and lose to a bigger guy because it's easier to accept. You got to remember that boxing is like 90% mental. So if he get his ass knocked out by Canelo, he can say, oh, I had 100,000 people there. I'm a star. I just lost to the bigger guy. But if he get his ass knocked out, which I think he will, by Crawford, who started off at 135, his confidence is going to be all fucked up. And then if he move up to 154, what belt is he going to fight for? What belt if Jermell Charlo decides to go up? Because I can tell that Jermell Charlo, once again, I'm not even going to point this out. Jermell Charlo is feeling underappreciated. He already be on the pound for pound list, but they got weak ass Triple G up there. So guess what? He's going to start speaking out. He's going to feel like, okay, if you got all this, I'm pound for pound. So who is he going to fight at 154? He going to fight some tune-ups? It's not going to really mean anything. He going to fight J-Rock. Who is he going to really fight? So he's in a crazy situation. So it's a lot of moving pieces on there. And Al Heyman is going to protect him because Al Heyman, for as good as he is, and I'm going to end you with this one. As far as good as Al Heyman is, you guys in there understands that you know what an enabler is, right? It only happens in the human world. It doesn't happen in the world of animals. He's an enabler. So if he allows you to have all these opportunities, no matter what you do, it prevents you from wanting to do your best. One thing you can say about Top Rank champions, they usually going to make they both on the same side. So with Al Heyman being an enabler, he can escape his way out of it, kind of like how he did with Adonis Stevenson. And Al Heyman doesn't care because he gets to control all the belts. It's all about control. It's all about control and possession and ownership in chess. Now, from a business perspective, being a shrewd businessman, it looks good. But from the fans, when the fans does something, it is what it is. But all you niggas out there that support Spence, I support him too. But I just think his ass knocked out, and he's Keith Thurman 2.0. I'm just not going to cap for Errol Spence because it's crazy. The same thing Errol Spence is doing. Y'all can see this. Real recognize real, and y'all gonna say it. But I understand, like y'all that's your guy, so y'all gonna use your confirmation bias. But the guy just went to Dallas. He ran up on you on Dallas, and your protector said, no, don't come on stage. No, I'm protect you. That's my little brother. That's my franchise. And you got to understand this. When you're a franchise, he knows his sports, you bring a lot of money to the local businesses, right? So if they understand that, remember when LeBron James left Cleveland and all those small businesses was going out of business? That's the same thing similarly what happened to Errol Spence, because he's making them into a franchise in Dallas. So when he comes to fight, a lot of people show up. So a lot of he has a roller coaster effect. So why would they want their money to lose? If I had a small business in Dallas, I wouldn't want to see him fight Crawford neither. I would want to see it, but at the same time, I know after that fight, it would be over. Hands down, A side don't mean shit. Tarver knocked Roy Jones the fuck out, and he was the A side. Facts.
All right, this is the last round. I'm up 3-0. Let me cancel Christmas on this motherfucker because he's losing. No, I'm living rent and space free in your head and soaking up all the damn AC. Let me see it again. I'm living rent and space free in your head and soaking up all the damn AC, man. Listen, this is the thing when you go up against He Knows the Sport, you're going to lose, though. You're going to have to eat an L. You're going to eat it, but you're going to get your L. Now, let's close this L out, man. You said a lot of nonsense. First and foremost, you said Errol the True Spence is a franchise, and Errol the True Spence is this and that. Listen, man. I don't know what you were saying, but dog, you in your own world for real, dog. You made me losing a lot of brain cells when you be talking sometimes, right? Because you talking all over the place. You're not a two-way. You're not talking two sideways out of your ass. You're talking that nonsense, man. I get it. You have to restate your position. This is when you know you're losing. When you have to restate your position over and over and over again, it's because people are not accepting what you're saying. See, I don't have to say what I say over and over again because people accept it the first time. So it's time to apply the foot on the damn necks. Just like my boy Tyrone Murray said. Errol the True Spence, the reason why he's selling out is because he's a rock star. And like Errol the True Spence said, you can't hunt the hunter. He's a megalodon shark. The megalodon shark, if you understand that species, that's why he calls himself the shark. But Spence is really a megalodon shark. The megalodon shark has no predators. It is the predator. Let me say it again. The megalodon shark has no predator. It is the predator. And the bottom line is this. Jerron Boots Ennis, that's a young pup, man. That's a young fucking pup. He's not ready for Errol the True Spence. He had his opportunity when he fought Chris Van Heeteren, a guy who was aged 30 years overnight by Errol the True Spence. If you wanted to impress me, Boots, you should have demolished that opponent. You should have cleaned house on his ass. You should have knocked his fucking rabbit ass out. He couldn't even fucking do that. He sat there and got headbutt. Let me explain something to you guys in boxing. There's two ways guys get headbutts. There's the first element of headbutt, like what Danny Garcia did to Errol the True Spence, or what Marcos Maidana did to Floyd Mayweather, or what Saki Obika did to Andre Ward. Go and do some film study. You understand what I'm talking about. These are airfield fighters. The reason why they got headbutt is because they're dominating and demolishing their opponent so much that the opponent has no choice but to throw a headbutt because they feel that's what's going to get them off kilter. But you're dealing with true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics. And Andre Ward said this best in the championship round, 7 rounds and up. It's all about this, the mental. These guys are so mentally sharp that even when you throw headbutts, it don't get them off track. Anything, it just make them whoop your ass even more. It just make him whoop your rabbit ass even more. Like when Zab Judah was cheating on Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather turned around. Once the fight came back, he whooped his ass even more because they're true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics. Now, when we sit here and look at Jerron Boots Ennis, he's not a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. He just has bad fucking footwork. And when you have bad footwork and choppy as fuck footwork like an Andre Berto, you're going to get headbutts like he did against Sean Porter. Chris Van Heeteren was able to headbutt his ass because Jerron Boots Ennis' footwork is bullshit and it's fuck shit. Just look at the fight against him and Gary Antoine Russell. He still got Gary Antoine Russell problems to deal with. If you're a Jerron Boots Ennis fan, that's what you need to be talking about. He needs to stay in his lane, know his role, and stay in his fucking place. That's what I told you. When you come against He Knows the Sport, I got to counter for everything. Gary Antoine Russell shoe shine his fucking ass and beat his rabbit ass up. Who did Andre Ward interview at the end of that fight? Gary Antoine Russell. And Gary Antoine Russell been calling his rabbit ass out ever fucking since. So until he can handle that and the Virgil Ortiz of the world, don't even think of Errol the True Spence. Because that's career suicide. That's career damage for the rest of your boxing career. Now,
Back on to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, when you say he's Omaha, Nebraska, and all this was the same motherfucker that was wearing. Y'all help me in the chat, dog. What's those sweaters Biggie be wearing and shit like that? Terence Crawford wore that shit for 4 straight fucking fights. Coogee, there you go. Coogee sweater. This motherfucker wore that same Coogee sweater for 4 fucking fights. Stunting. Showing that he arrived. He didn't act like he was from Omaha, Nebraska no more. Because if Terence Crawford was an Omaha, Nebraskan like you motherfuckers say that he was, then he would be listening to his sister who told his rabbit ass that why you still dealing with Bob Arum. Terence Crawford only deals with coon and buffooning nonsense. He listens to the master. He don't listen to his own people. So again, you're emphatically incorrect. Because if Terence Crawford was what you said that he was, thank you, Hurricane Carter, thank you, Esau the Devil. This motherfucker wore a Coogee sweater for 4 straight fucking fights. But you're going to sit here and run your rabbit ass mouth and say that Terence Crawford act like he ain't new. Earl the True Spence act like he ain't new to the party. He's been there before. See, when you've been somewhere before, you're going to act like you ain't been there before. That's the difference between Terence Crawford and Earl the True Spence. When it's all said and done, Terence Crawford is jealous of Earl the True Spence. He wants to be there. He wants everything that Earl the True Spence has. But if you want it, it's very fucking simple what you got to do. You know what it is, Jalik? Take your 40%, bend the proverbial fucking knee, because you're not telling me this. You going in all of these fucking rabbit-ass circles. Thank you, AJ. Damn right. I got my Triple G chin, though. They can't fuck with me, though. He can't fuck with me. You going in all of these rabbit-ass circles. This is what you're doing. Instead of hitting the foot and hitting the thumb on the needle. And you know what the thumb on the needle was? You as a Budman fan ain't telling me this. IBFP, you let IBFP of all people. He's a friend of me, but behind closed door, we cool as shit. Motherfuckers send me Happy New Year's, all this shit. We cool as shit. And I send that shit right back to him. But if he could tuck ass and admit, my boy, he knows, dog, you was right all the fucking long, man. About Earl the True Spence. He's the A side. Why can't you do the same shit? And IBFP was the biggest staunch guy saying Spence don't want Terence, but he realized, he started putting 2 and 2 together. And the Reject Robin, who I basically built his whole fucking channel up, the existence of his own channel is because of me and my subscribers appreciations live stream. That's why he even has an existence on YouTube. He can't even tuck ass and admit. And he left my master to now IBFP's master. Y'all put 2 and 2 together. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. But anyways, at least he opened his mouth and said it, dog. Yo, Earl the True Spence, the A side. Terence Crawford is the B side. And he admitted this shit after the Danny Garcia fight. And when you sat here and said that Spence don't counterpunch, you don't watch boxing, man. Danny Garcia that told you Spence was countering his counterpunching. Danny Garcia is known to be a counterpuncher, man. Do you fucking even know this? Do you even do film study? I have to question your boxing knowledge, dog. Do you even do film study, bro? Danny Garcia is a counterpuncher if he ain't nothing else. How you think he get you with that right hand left hook, right hand left hook, right hand left hook? It's because he be baiting you. And Spence was countering his ass. Spence did the Danny Garcia what Floyd Mayweather did to Juan Manuel Marquez. He out-countered the counterer. Woo, what I said was super profound. Woo! Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me? Hear me fucking well. Earl the True Spence out-countered the counterer. He did the same shit that Floyd Mayweather did to fucking Juan Manuel Marquez. The same shit. So what are you talking about when you say Earl the True Spence can't counter? Mikey Garcia is a counterer. Earl the True Spence was out-countering his ass. You want me to keep on going? Lamont Peterson is a boxing extraordinaire. That's why I laugh when casuals say, well, he fought Lamont Peterson. Who the fuck is Lamont Peterson? The same guy that wore Danny Garcia's ass out. How you think he wore out Danny Garcia? Because Lamont Peterson can fucking counterpunch. And Spence out-counterpunched his ass. Do you even fucking watch Spence, though? I don't think you watch. I don't think you understand how special of a fighter that's in front of you. Unless you're just a regular motherfucker. Regular motherfuckers, they can't never understand special. Remember, I done told you guys this shit. Special begets special, or regular begets regular. Earl the True Spence is special. And if you ain't have a special mind, you can't understand the specialness that's in front of you. Earl the True Spence was out countering Sean Porter in a phone booth fight. How you think he dropped his ass? You think he dropped his ass because he was just waiting to see what punch it? No, he was countering the ineffective aggression with his tactical aggression. Name an elite level fight that Earl the True Spence encountered. He was out countering Kell Brook. So that's what I said. What fight are you fucking watching? What Spence are you watching? Do you have an image of Spence in your head that you just don't understand the type of fighter that Spence is in front of you? Because I think that's really what it boils down to. You do not understand the level of fighter that's in front of you. Because if you understood the level of a fighter that was in front of you, you wouldn't say that bullshit and that fuck shit. What you talking right now is boxing casual material. That's why motherfuckers saying you are hurting their ears. That's why motherfuckers saying that they don't understand what you're saying. You running with all of these outliers. You telling us about fiat money and all that. This is boxing, man. This ain't about being socially conscious and socially aware. Contextualize your arguments to this shit, man. This is Spence versus Crawford. And you know why I'm ether and murking you? Because I know how to stay on fucking context. I do this shit better than anybody. That's why I win every fucking debate. Because when motherfuckers are doing this, because I know in order to the thing is, I'm like Mayweather. I'm like Earl the True Spence. I'm like Andre Ward. I'm like Michael Jordan. I'm like Kobe Bryant. I come in with an intimidation factor. I know when people debate me, they already intimidated. Like, damn, that's the infamous Hkhs sport, though. You already intimidated. But like Kishiro said, why am I sink dude? Don't you already know? You already fucking dead. The intimidation factor already makes you like that. So now all I gotta do is showcase the realness and the authenticity and consistency behind the intimidation factor, and I'm gonna run your rabbit ass off. That's why you're losing. That's why it's a 4-0 sweep right now. Because what you bring in is outliers. I'm bringing you cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat fashion, and you can't straddle the fence against the truth. Spence is not a fighter that is a franchise. This ain't no McDonald's. This ain't your have your fucking way. Spence is a boxing superstar. That's why you use the wrong simile here. That's why you use the wrong argument. You're not even using the right business principle here. This is what Spence is a sole proprietorship. You even want me to teach you fucking business? You know I can teach you this shit. I'm up there with the best of them with this shit. Spence is a sole proprietor. He's not a franchise. And in his sole proprietorship, because boxing is an individualized sport, he is a boxing superstar. And he's dominating this sport like nobody's business. And the problem with people like you that's mediocre and regular as fuck, you can't accept special in front of you because special is something that you just can't understand. And just like Hkhs Sport told you, he's not a regular cat, nor does he think regular, nor does he reside in regular realms. Well, guess what? Earl the True Spence is not a regular cat, nor does he think regular, nor does he reside in regular realms. Special begets special. Terence Crawford is a regular cat. He resides in regular realms. That's why he wants to be like Earl the True Spence. But guess what? You can't sell a cookout, let alone a chicken dinner. So because you can't even do that, how the fuck do you fucking expect to be on the same wave with Earl the True Spence? See, Jalik, I'm contextualizing this motherfucker, and I'm putting your ass on the red carpet, ethering and murking you all at the same time. You getting that ether, that shit that make your soul burn. So, because all I got to do is bring you right back on context. And the context is as simple as this, as I'm lacing your rabbit ass up. You as a Budman fan have one thing to admit. Bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring while you at it, and take your 40%. And as a Budman fan, if you're not doing this, then you don't even want to fight. And see, what us as Spence fans need to do is we need to challenge these Budman fans. Why are you not telling Terence Crawford? Listen, everybody in the chat, I'm giving y'all something new to tell Budman fans. And just like you see, I ethered and murked. I gave Jalik one game plan because I knew I needed one game plan against him with this argument. And Jalik is now seeing, damn, dog, this nigga's like Floyd, dog. He's like Earl. It looked easy on the outside. See, when motherfuckers think they about to debate me, it looked easy on the outside. But when you step into that ring with Hkhs, dog, it's a different animal. I may have to start getting my Leonard Ellaby to preach this shit to motherfuckers. It's a different, because this motherfucker, he just on another level. And if I think I'm up there mentally, he be always supersede my shit. Because that's just the way that I am. Let's just say that I'm better than you. Just like Earl the True Spence is better than Terence Crawford, man. That's what it boils down to. He's the bigger name. And when you are better and you are the bigger name, then guess what? You deserve that lion's share of the goods. You deserve the A-side equation. And because of that delineation, that distinction, that gulf, and that separation, then when it all said and done, then Errol the True Spence should get what Errol the True Spence deserves. Absence that, you motherfuckers don't get it. There ain't gonna be no Spence versus Crawford. I'm trying to teach you motherfuckers. I'm teaching you, Jalik. I'm teaching you, all you Budman fans. If y'all want to know how Spence and Crawford is gonna happen, just watch Hnos Sport videos. Every time I drop them bitches every day. I'm teaching y'all how to make Spence versus Crawford. Crawford needs to bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring while at it, accept his 40%, and the fight is gonna fucking happen. Absence that, Spence don't need this motherfucker. Because you know why? Spence is like me. You see how when I go from collab to collab, I always find a way to weasel myself out of the old person that ain't doing what they supposed to do. And then I find somebody that do what they supposed to. You don't bend the fucking knee. I kick you out. I kick you to the side, and I find the next motherfucker that's gonna bend the fucking knee. Either way, somebody gonna bend the fucking knee. It ain't gonna be me, but somebody gonna do it. That's what Errol the True Spence. Bend the fucking knee and kiss the ring while you at it. I mean, it's really that fucking simple. Thank you, Jalene Thompson. Facts over feelings. He knows cook. That's what it, because with me, it's all about facts, though. I don't put feelings into this shit. I done told you, Rudy, for bump on break. Motherfuckers was taking this shit personal with Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. And they was feeling some type of way. I don't take shit personal. Just because I don't like a boxer, I'm not going to tell lies about a fucking boxer. I don't too much care about Vasily Lomachenko, but I ain't going to lie. I saw that he got bribed and he got robbed. So the same rules don't apply to him because he's white? Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. We are truth tellers here. And we're going to tell the truth. We don't care what the race of that fighter is. If that fighter got done wrong, we're going to tell the truth over here, man. Teofimo Lopez is a super duper hype job variation. And once a super duper hype job, always a super duper hype job. What did Maya Angelou told you? When a person shows you who they are first time, believe them. So once a super duper hype job, always a super duper hype job. So how does this contextualize to Terence Crawford? Once a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence, always a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. That's what Maya Angelou meant when she was talking about Terence Crawford. He's smoking fucking mirrors because he's not even doing heavyweight lifting. He's not even cleaning up his side of the street. And Spence could have said, fuck you off of that. He didn't even listen to Spence when Spence told him to do that. Spence could have said, fuck Spence versus Crawford because he didn't even follow the rules on that. But Spence still giving him grace period and said, look, all you got to do, motherfucker, you ain't even doing heavyweight lifting. Just take 40%. He can't even do that. So you think Spence going to fight his ass? Let me tell you what Spence found. That's the way to get out of Bud. All Spence got to do is fight Canelo. Because once Spence fight Canelo, ain't nobody going to be checking for Bud. Because people going to be like, damn, Spence is fighting somebody that he could potentially lose to. So now people going to be talking about that shit. You see what Spence did? This is what true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics do. They always find a scapegoat from a situation. Spence fighting Canelo, it'll make people in boxing fans don't even think about Terence Crawford. Because guess what? When it's all said and done, Terence Crawford, you know who all of these Terence Crawford fanboy man crushers are? They're disgruntled Mikey Garcia fanboys. Let me say that again, though. Hey, the real G's, the super real G's, the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets, they got the decoded message behind what I just said. Because you know me, I'm like Jay-Z. I'm always dropping metaphors, similes, and all that. If you can't keep up, I can't help you to fucking keep up. They are disgruntled Mikey Garcia fanboys. So they needed to fall on the next motherfucker because little Mikey, he got fucked up. He got regressed into a human punching bag, a human fucking pinata. He got regressed into the Hnos Sport and famous terminology of a Uber, a Lyft, and a hold up. Hey, taxi, Tijuana cab driver fighter. So because of that, now they had to go and run their rabbit ass over to Terence Crawford. Well, Terence Crawford's been revealed as a chihuahua walking behind the damn fence. Did you think that Terence Crawford was the end game, like the movie The Avengers? No. Terence Crawford was just making time so that these motherfuckers could run the Canelo because they really want Canelo to get revenge on Errol the True Spence. That's why I'm trying to tell you. Bud ain't got no fucking choice but to tuck ass because they really want Canelo. That's why you say, you know, Canelo Saul Alvarez, you know, Cinnamon Alvarez fanboys. They like cinnamon dust horchata Alvarez. They want to sniff the cinnamon dust ass crack so they can tell you how the cinnamon dust smells, right? They want him against Spence. They don't give a fuck about Terence Bud Crawford. This is what I'm trying to tell you, Jalik. It was never about Terence Bud Crawford because he never fucking mattered. So if Terence Bud Crawford wants this fucking fight, tuck fucking ass, bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the fucking ring, and then you will get the Spence versus the Crawford fight. It's really that simple. Because really, you know what fight fans want? They want Spence versus Canelo. Did you not know that? They don't give a fuck about Bud. That's why Bud don't really have a fan base. Because if he did, he wouldn't be boring as fucking, he wouldn't be unmarketable. What am I saying here? That's not the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. Bud is unmarketable as fuck. It's because he don't really have a fight fan base. And when you have these fake as fuck Errol the True Spence fans because they mad because Spence didn't go with Blu-ray. Spence is a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics. He gonna do what he gonna do. You hear what Spence said at the end of the Danny Garcia fight? Sorry, my fans, but I was motivated by the hate. That's what I told y'all. See, I never met Spence. I don't know Spence. But what I know is I know his spirit because I see my spirit in his spirit. He always looking to prove a motherfucker wrong. That's how he knows. I'm wired that way. So when I see a motherfuckers like that, I gravitate towards that. Spence was going to prove you motherfuckers wrong. Oh, y'all doubting me? Y'all say that I ain't Mr. Tactical Aggression, Mr. Technical Punching Placement, and Mr. Body Snatching Work, the levy and onslaught of the punishment stuff? I'm going to prove you motherfuckers wrong. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. That's why Danny Garcia had to testify, dog. That's why, like, he got the Holy Ghost, dog. He had to testify, man. Errol the True Spence, that jab, that thing's so good. He out counterpunched me. He punched in between my punches. This is the game plan on how you beat Terence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. You know, the game plan on beating Terence Bud Crawford, Canelo, y'all need to go watch my video. I broke that shit down so eloquently. You fight them the same way. The only difference between Canelo and Terence Bud Crawford is Canelo, you just got to be careful coming in. You got to be very disciplined. You don't let him hit you with anything meaningful, you know what I'm saying, in terms of how he likes to punch, because he likes to punch in flashes. So you don't let him do none of that shit. And then while he's taking the gas off of the foot, you beat the shit out of that. And Spence will wear your ass out in between those times where you're being comfortable. Terence Bud Crawford, you could take risks with him because Terence Bud Crawford ain't got power like that. He ain't got nothing that's going to drop Errol to Spence. You best believe that shit. So Spence could eat up some shit on the chin, just like I'm eating your shit on the chin. Like fucking Pac-Man, right? And spin that bitch back the fuck out. And then Spence could just wear his ass out and punch in between his comfortability. This is how you beat it. This game plan is very simple on how to beat Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is probably the easiest person that you could game plan for. Because when it's all said and done, that's what it is. That's it. And motherfuckers got to understand that shit. And it's really that simple. And Canelo Alvarez, when he sees Errol the True Spence, he sees Floyd Money Mayweather. Thank you, Hurricane Carter. See, I said it. And look, bam. This is how you know real G's, super real G's, and ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets. They on the same wavelength. That's why motherfuckers don't want to accept Errol the True Spence. Because they know, okay, shit, this is Mayweather all over again, and we don't want to deal with that shit. They don't want to accept that shit. But it's just from more of a punishment style. Why do you think Spence ain't studying Canelo? Because Spence know all I got to do is use the same Mayweather game plan, but I could just apply more punishment on it. That Mayweather's game plan is still intact for Canelo. Because Canelo fights in spurts, and Canelo fights in flashes. Shit, if I was Errol the True Spence trainer, that's what I would be telling him. This motherfucker fighting flashes. So punch in between his fucking flashes, wear his ass out, bust his ass up in the body, because Canelo can be slowing down the body. You know how I know this? Because a 151-pound Floyd Mayweather was giving Canelo Alvarez 175 that night, solar plex punches and slowing his rabbit ass down. So I was laughing when Bernard Hopkins out of his rabbit ass mouth said, Spence don't got no punching resistance to keep Canelo off him. That's stupid. Now he's sounding like a boxing casual. Or it could be, it's just the simple fact that he wants Canelo back because Canelo left Golden Boy. That's why he's tucking ass. Cooning, buffooning at his truest and his most properest levels. That's how you beat Canelo, man. Canelo's stamina is shit. Terence Bud Crawford ain't got no stamina issue. Terence Bud Crawford just fights in flashes too. He likes to be comfortable in the ring. And you just got to make him uncomfortable. That's it. Why do you think Canelo don't want to fight Jamal Charlo? Because Jamal Charlo is a lateral king. That's how he gets his uppercuts, through lateral movement. That's how he throws shit that you can't see. Just as J-Rock. J-Rock is still stumbling off of that fucking uppercut. Canelo knows this. That's why he don't want to be in the ring with Jamal Charlo. So I'm contextualizing all of this to show you that these boys from Texas, and shame on you, Jalik, because you should know you from Texas too. These boys from Texas, they drinking something special, man. They on some different shit. Their bodies are built too big, too durable, and too tough as it relates to Errol the Truth Spence, Jamel, and Jamal Charlo. They dominate, man. 147, 154, and 160. Can't nobody see them. Oh, you ain't from Texas? Okay, then maybe that's why you sound the way the fuck you sound. But if you live there or you stay there, then you know what the fuck I'm talking about. These motherfuckers are built a certain fucking way. They're wired a certain way. And Spence, all he got to do to prepare for any opponent is fucking just spar and do iron sharpening iron with Jamel Charlo. That prepares him for any opponent. Don't matter who the fuck he's fighting. And it works every time. When he fought against Danny Garcia, he trained with fucking Jamel Charlo. And what the fuck happened? Got done the fuck up. So the bottom line is as simple as this. When we look at Terence Crawford, we look at Errol Spence, we see one guy that's really doing what he's supposed to, and that's why he's where he needs to be at from a boxing standpoint. And when we look at Terence Crawford, we see another guy that's not doing what he's supposed to, and that's why he's not where he needs to be at from a boxing standpoint. This is why this fight is not happening. Because Terence Crawford hasn't come to the conclusion in reality that he's boring as fuck, he's unmarketable, and he's the B-side. When he starts coming to that conclusion and that reality, then it'll make sense. And if Terence Crawford was a smart fighter like you say he was, Jalik, because he sounded stupid right now, he wouldn't have got stanky leg by Gamboa. He wouldn't have got dropped by Mean Machine. Smart fighters don't take shots like that. Floyd is a smart fighter. Floyd don't ever get no shots like that. You ain't never seen Floyd get dropped by no Mean Machine. See, I'm ether and murking your bullshit in the comment section. You ain't never seen Floyd get ethered and murked by some damn Jeff Horn. If Bud is everything you motherfuckers say he is, then these opponents that they put in front of him, and Bob is putting opponents in front of him that he's supposed to be, he should be embarrassing these opponents. He shouldn't even be getting touched up. Bud gets too touched up too much for him to be supposedly this smart boxer. Boxing IQ requires that it's hit and don't get hit. That's why they call it the sweet science for a reason. Did you know that? So again, you've been ethered and murked. 4-0. Now, closing summaries, dog. Anything you got to say before we close out, bro?
Shout out to everybody, man. Like, once again, for those who just met me, I'm Jaliktheleader. I do have my own channel. You got to give it to He Knows His Sports. He told y'all he was a narcissist. So even as I expose him, he's going to turn me exposing him into something else. Narcissists are very tricky. They have a way of manipulating the public, but he already told you I'm not really exposing nothing what he already said. Like I said already, I don't pocket watch. I want these guys to get their money. Homeboy Errol Spence has more leverage, but that doesn't mean he gonna win the fight. What does it mean that he get more money? What, he gonna buy an extra car that Bud don't have? Bud making $4 or $5 million a fight. So the illusion of money got these fanagers talking in a way where they don't want to see the fight, so that way they can continue to put out 1,000 videos like He Knows His Sports to get their AdSense up. And I understand it, because money it's easy to get attached to money, but that's a whole nother different live. At the end of the day, if anybody want to put their money up, I'm not hard to find. If you type in Jaliktheleader, feel free to subscribe. I'll put my money up. I'm going to the fight. And if Errol Spence takes the fight, we'll see. I mean, he's stuck in. He got his back against the wall. What is he gonna go to 154 and fight Jamel Charlo? Jamel Charlo going down in history. He about to be undisputed if Castaño beat Teixeira. So what is he gonna do? At the end of the day, like I said, I always want these guys to get their bread. Hopefully, they can fight, because I just don't see how Errol Spence can even win the fight. Now, when you talk to these casuals that don't know boxing and don't understand that it just isn't about size, it's about IQ. And these guys like He Knows His Sports that just talk about physical size. If you understand boxing, Crawford is just as big, and he's actually, in my opinion, stronger than him. And you're going to see how, just like Floyd was stronger than Shane, and Shane Mosley is known as bench pressing 300-400 pounds, but he losing a lot of weight. He's like maybe an inch or so taller, but his reach is 2 inches shorter. He's going to take away his jab. He's going to punch with Errol Spence. He's not in all of Errol Spence because Errol Spence, once he went the distance with the quitter at 126, what's his name? Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, solid fighter, but he quit against Salido and he couldn't even drop him, bro. He couldn't even drop him. That's the reason why Errol Spence fans be getting in their feelings. But it is what it is, man. Hopefully the fight can happen. I'm not going to be talking about how much money they should make. Who am I? I got my own business. Ain't nobody going to tell me to lower my rates just to do it. So I don't understand these guys in there pocket watching these guys, telling guys to take the lower fight. I want to see the fight as well. I'm not going to do that because who am I to say that? You know what I'm saying? This guy making Crawford is making more money than every welterweight on PBC except maybe Earl, and he probably making just as much, 4 or 5 million. So it is what it is. If the fight happens, he gonna knock him out. But Earl still be a good fighter. I still support him because some of the things I like about Earl. Let me show you this because I'm not a hater. He knows his sports he's a narcissist hater. I'm expose he knows his sports before I get out of here. I'm gonna give you some compliments just to show you how fair and balanced I am. Errol Spence has a good jab. His defense is actually underrated. So people say he got trash defense. His defense is actually underrated. He can fight off the back foot, but that's not his best way. And I also like the fact that the little things that he does. I actually like horses myself. So it's actually funny that he said that. I wouldn't have said that, but I get it because I actually like horses myself. And I would probably, I don't know if I have a farm, but he likes dogs too. I think he got a Presa Canario or a Cane Corso. I'm into dogs. Everybody know I got my dog business. So he does that good. And I like the fact that he didn't do that interview with DJ Vlad that be dry snitching on there. So I like Errol Spence. So I'm not coming off on there, but I can't lie for Errol Spence. You can't lie for people. I'm not no yes man person. I'm not going to lie for you and hype you up. That's not right. Because if you really his fan, you got to question yourself. Like, why is it all these obstacles? Why they can't make the fight? Do they want this guy to retire undefeated? Or are they that attached to their fighter? You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yeah. And hopefully before we leave here, he knows his sports can. What are some things that Earl needs to do inside the ring to become even better? And what are some things that Crawford does good in the ring? Because I don't want your narcissistic ways to put you in a hater box. Because once you get in that hater box, it's hard to get out of there. But go ahead and finish this out. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Anybody ever want this smoke, you know where to find me.
All right. Bottom line is simple as this. Jalik got beat up. He got ethered and murked. And this is what happens when you get a he knows the sport defeat.
I beat you.
You gotta do all this extra talking. You gotta do all this extra talking to restate your points. I don't need to restate shit. Everybody knows you got your ass slaughtered out. Now, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end it like this. Jalik took his ass whooping very fucking good, because it was a good ass whooping. It's exactly what Spence is going to do to Crawford, 4-0. I don't need to restate IQ shit because motherfuckers that was listening could understand that I was already talking about boxing IQ and all this other shit. So I don't know what you be listening to. But anyways, when it's all said and done, Terence Bud Crawford and Bud Man fans, I leave with this. Bud Man fans have one responsibility. They need to demand Terence Bud Crawford to they need to demand Terence Bud Crawford to bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring, and admit that he is the 40%. That's it. I mean, it's just simple. It was 4-0, dog. It was a 4-0 split. It was easy. This was easy work. I mean, I ate my oatmeal. I mean, Jalik was just easy. It was very fucking. I mean, I didn't feel. I felt comfortable. Though. I was like, okay, I'm able to, shoulder roll off of this punch and shoulder roll off of that. I mean, it was really simple for me, though. Now, exactly. Thank you, Devil's Double. Now, bottom line is simple as this. Terence Bud Crawford needs to bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the fucking ring, and admit that he's the 40% side equation. And when you Bud Man fans come to this conclusion and admit this shit, then you're going to see Spence versus Crawford. Absent that, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it out loud, Errol the Truth Spence And when you say I'm a narcissist, blah, 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 being a narcissist is not a bad thing. Everybody that's the most successful people on the planet are fucking narcissists. Did you not know this? It's just, are you balanced with your narcissism or are you not? I'm balanced with the shit. Now, bottom line is this. Errol the True Spence just needs to do what Errol the True Spence needs to continue to do. Heavyweight lifting. He don't need Crawford. Crawford needs Spence. And when you Rudy Poo and Plum Plum Brains, classic Dolce and Troglodytes, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric understand this and get it, then you will know that that's just the way it rolls. Spence's legacy will not be defined by Terence Bud Crawford because Spence could go all the way up to 168. Bud is at his cap at 147. Bud tried to go to 154. He really gonna get hurt. He's done. So if Bud is smart, Bud's gonna fight Spence. The thing is, Terence Bud Crawford never wanted to fight Errol the True Spence. He thought Errol the True Spence was already gonna be at 154. That's the truth. And that's why he moved up to 147, because he thought Spence was gonna already move up to 154 so that he could shoe shine 147. But Spence is still here, and it's putting him in a precarious situation. That's really what it boils down to, man. So accept, it really should be 70-30, but accept the gracious 60-40 that you got, or this fight is not going to fucking happen. I mean, I'm going to spend all week explaining this shit, expounding this shit on my channel, because my channel is the most cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat, truth-telling fashion channel on YouTube. So I'm going to explain this shit. If you don't accept your B-side, this fight ain't fucking happening. And when you keep saying erroneously, it's like you're not a boxing fan, Jalik. It's like you don't understand boxing. It's prize fighting. They don't only fight for a belt, they fight for money. Money is intertwined in boxing. That's why I don't understand when people just say, let it keep it boxing, let it keep it, that archaic viewpoint, that one-trick pony mindset. It's a three-pronged monster: economics, politics, and pugilism. Money's involved. And if the money ain't right, this shit ain't gonna fucking happen. This has always been what boxing has been. When was boxing ever, let's just keep it boxing? Only the fucking motherfuckers that think in one way or one-sided aspect that sees it this way. But if you're a motherfucker that's opening your mind and expanding your mind, you know boxing has all of these conglomerates associated with it. So Errol the True Spence gonna get 60, Terence Bud Crawford gonna get 40, or this fight ain't gonna fucking happen, man. It's really that simple. And Spence don't need Crawford because he could just fall back on Canelo Alvarez. And once he do that, you know what the fight fans gonna say? Because people like Jalik, the reason why they keep getting mad or whatever, the reason why they ain't gonna remember Terence. They gonna remember that Spence embarrassed Canelo, and then they're gonna be like, well, Spence's legacy is defined off of that. Because in boxing, you have to have what's called signature performances, and you have to have quality opposition. Spence already has quality opposition. He just needs that signature performance. That signature performance ain't gonna be Terence Bud Crawford. Spence is expected to bulldoze and steamroll that motherfucker. His signature performance is gonna be Canelo, because the fact that Canelo supposedly learned all this shit after Mayweather, and then Spence embarrassed his ass. That's gonna be what's impressive. That's gonna be the signature performance of his career. This is how boxing is defined: quality opposition and signature performances. Terence Bud Crawford don't have no signature performances, and he don't have no quality opposition. So he's the B fucking side. And until you, the Bud Man fan consumer, understands this, then we have a fucking problem. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth-telling fashion. Make sure y'all subscribe to my brother Jaliktheleader's channel. Make sure y'all subscribe to He Knows the Sports channel. Make sure y'all comment, like, and share. Give y'all Sunday's best, man. Donate to the platform. Whatever you can give, we thoroughly enthuse it. We appreciate it. We'll be right back next week with another hot topic to debate. It was a 4-0 clean sweep. He Knows the Sport won the first debate. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Jaliktheleader, anything you want to say, and then we close out.
I just want to say that thanks for having me on. I know I beat you because you're the type of guy that need validation. Like all of your guys in there, and I get it though. That's why I like to come on. I like to expose people. It's more challenging to do it not on my platform. I like to go where I'm the underdog. It's more challenging. I like to expose you in front of everybody, and people gonna laugh. But at the end of the day, all the stuff I'm saying is gonna come out of pocket. Like how he deserve things. But I don't like to get into the money part because I'm not a groupie like that. I want them to get their money. I could have talked more about the money and how Mikey Garcia, but you know, I didn't want to do that because that's just getting old. But hopefully you can watch some tapes. But anybody listen to the chat, if you get a chance, subscribe to my channel. I'll be live tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're gonna recap Ryan Garcia because Ryan Garcia versus Tank Cinco de Mayo. Look at Cinco de Mayo. The Canelo takeover of Cinco de Mayo is coming in a couple of months. If Ryan wins in about an hour. But make sure y'all support. He knows his sports. He's learning though. I'm gonna teach. See what I'm gonna teach him. He has to learn about not saying the same thing over and over again. He's super attached to the same content. He has a one-track mind. He doesn't understand that boxing is bigger than other topics. I'm gonna teach him though. He'll learn though. It's just that he's a little hard-headed. He just loves to talk about the same thing because I ain't one-dimensional. I can talk fantasy. I can talk this boxing and I expose him again. So this was just a little sparring match. You know what I'm saying? He can't beat me. He knows it. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go home. He gonna get his magazine. He look like he been lifting weights too. He look like a football player. He look like you look like you've been with some bench pressing and doing some exercise, and that's cool though. But now you must read. Now you need to do mental exercises. Everything ain't. I told y'all in the chat. Everything ain't about the physical world. It's about the mental world. You doing these physical exercises. You must do mental exercise. But I appreciate everybody that came on. Much love.
Again, Jalik talking two sideways out of his ass. Just eat your L, man. I get it. When you lose to Hinos, you're gonna come up with every excuse in the book, man. You lost. It's a normal thing. People are always gonna lose against me. It's a normal thing. So don't take it as personal. Don't take it as it's a normal thing. Shit fucking happens. There you go. Hinos the sport whoop the shit out of you, family. That's it. People will tell you the truth. Like I said, we leaving it to the fans. Not usually, not me. We leaving it to the fans. And the fans told you it was a 4-0 clean sweep. Next week we got a hot pocket topic. We got a hot pocket topic next week. And the hot pocket topic that we're going to talk next week is going to be epic. It's actually going to surprise Jalik because this is what we do. We are multifaceted up in here and we talk all kinds of shit, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all comment, like, and share. We appreciate you. Donate, super chat, cash app, whatever y'all can, man. We appreciate it. When it's all said and done, this is Hinos Sport bringing you that heat and that fart. And keeping the foot on the what on the Hkhs. And keeping the foot on the what on the Hkhs. Jaliktheleader, we tore this shit up, man. We used one topic. We talked about one topic, but we engaged people so much in one topic. That just shows you not only Hinos Sport prowess, but it also shows you your prowess to have people engaged. So I give you that.
You still live?
Yeah, I'm still live. I'll give you that.
Set up for everybody, man. We'll come back next week. You know what I'm saying? I'll teach you. So I think I'm gonna switch my name from Jaliktheleader to Jalik the Teacher. I like teaching people because when a student is ready, the teacher shall appear. See, a lot of people don't want to learn. They get caught up in illusions. Teach them beyond the basic superficial level so y'all won't get caught up in money. You don't know how much these guys is really making. You know what I'm saying? You don't know how much debt they have. When you talk about gotta talk about debt too. You can't just talk about the earnings. It's deeper than that.
Like John Kramer said, it was a great debate.
And JC,
we're gonna end it on that note. Jalik, I'll let you know what the next topic is and during the middle of the next week, and then I'll give you time to study because that's what you're gonna have to do. You know, the good book says, "Study to shew thyself approved, for a workman needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." Though, so you're gonna need to study to show yourself approval, though. When it's all said and done, we appreciate y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all do the damn thing. Jalik, thank you. Everybody else, thank you for your participation. We're going to bring out another debate. And the whole mindset of 2021 is embrace debate. That's it. Embrace debate, y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all take care. Enjoy y'all 2021. Be COVID-free, everyone. Do y'all damn thing. Jalik, I'm putting blessings and prosperity upon your business. And for you to obtain all of the prosperity that you're looking to obtain, likewise, I'm praying that on myself and everybody in the chat so that we can continue to be here week in and week out and embrace debate. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Peace.